Orphaned young Xinghe scraped by with his sister until she was beaten into a mysterious coma. To save her, Xinghe gambled on a brutal 996 startup grind, and today an investor's call finally sparks hope. Crossing the street, a random girl suddenly calls him her boyfriend and grabs his arm. Cue instant confusion. She claims shady men are watching and needs him as a fake shield, dragging Xinghe into drama. He denies knowing her, but his clueless panic only makes it worse. She flips the script, accusing him of copying her boyfriend's outfit to creep on her public villain unlock. The real boyfriend shows up dressed exactly like Xinghe and points at him ready to throw hands. The girl sobs into the real boyfriend's arms, staging a street-side caught you scene with Xinghe as the perv. Suddenly, hoofbeats thunder through the modern street as an armored knight charges in like reality just glitched. Survival mode kicks and Xinghe tackles the girl down, still clueless what nightmare is charging past. The horse tramples the real boyfriend into instant mush, leaving screams and a gruesome mess. The girl collapses on Xinghe crying while he gasps and realizes this is way beyond a traffic accident. When he opens his eyes, the world is warped, and the girl is now a bizarre creature begging for water. Chained to a rock, the strange woman thirsts desperately, making Xinghe wonder if has died and dropped into the underworld. As he tries to back away from trouble, she suddenly grabs his leg. Heart attack guaranteed. Xinghe scrambles back, convinced she's a sheghost, stammering that he can't give her that water. The demoness shrieks, sprouts a tail, and razor claws monster mode fully revealed. As she advances with jaws open, Xinghe knows one wrong move equals instant death. Being strangled mid-chas, he bitterly realizes street smarts really matter. Instead of killing him, the demoness force-kisses him, activating a weird system that lets Xinghe steal the female lead's skill. The system assigns a quest: survive 3 days in Longton Village, with 4 others or no return ticket. Xinghe dazedly realizes he's transmigrated into a survival game starring a so-called female lead. A hand yanks him away by the collar, stopping things before they get deadlier. Poscus, the demoness, looks revitalized, eyes seductive like she's eyeing fresh prey. A grey-robed Taoist appears, saying they worked hard to capture this demoness, then questions Xinghe's odd identity. The demoness strikes a sultry pose to provoke Xinghe, but he knows one slip means doom. The system notes the kiss quenched her thirst and boosted favorability. Turns out bold moves pay off. Smiling slyly, the demoness warns him never to trust the Taoist, clearly sowing discord. The Taoist snaps, accusing her of bewitching lies and insisting Hes the trustworthy one. He urges Xinghe to leave before night monsters appear and takes him to Longton Village to rest. Xinghe quickly notices the Taoist's odd change in address, sparking fresh suspicion. On the way, Xinghe spots a fleeting shadow and questions it, wary of this not normal place. The Taoist, calling himself Ling Xuzi, coolly says it's probably a monster and tells him to keep moving. Ling Xuzi claims he descended the mountain on his master's orders to catch a fox demon, yet Xinghe feels even more doubtful. Xinghe's probing question makes Ling Xuzi pause, clearly surprised the kid isn't easy to fool. Regaining composure, Ling Xuzi says he has unfinished business and can't leave the village yet. Reaching gloomy Longton Village, they meet a drenched little girl as if fresh from the water. Mega creepy vibes. The girl Xiao Li cheerfully offers Xinghe lodging, saying he smells deliciously nice and she really likes it. Xiao Li leads them into a shabby wooden house, says her parents are out, yet warmly invites Xinghe to stay. Once the Taoist leaves, Xinghe notices the swampy stench filling the house. Huge red flag. A red-eyed man appears at the window, urgently staring as if warning Xinghe of danger. Dressed in modern clothes like Xinghe, the man bangs on the door, yelling that the whole village is already dead. Xiao Li asks who Xinghe is talking to, proving she can't see the man at all. Sensing mystery and a possible fellow transmigrator, Xinghe bolts outside to investigate. The system triggers a hidden quest: find and confirm teammates. So yes, other players exist, but in a blink, the mysterious man vanishes like a deleted file. Before thinking further, redayed villagers surround Xinghe until a strange voice calms him from behind. A girl in modern sportswear appears, quickly guessing Xinghe was dragged into this world like her. Xinghe confirms her as a teammate, and the system rewards points. Coop survival unlocked. She introduces herself as Ai Xiaoqing, oblivious to the villagers behind her slowly mutating. The drenched villagers mutter bloodthirsty cravings, and Xiaoqing realizes something's very wrong. She figures it out at night. Everyone in Longton Village turns into man-eating beasts. Xinghe suddenly pulls out a gun and drops a few monsters, stunning Xiaoqing. Calmly, he says he exchanged system points for the gun and Amo clearly read the game manual early. Xiaoqing realizes she never triggered the hidden quest, so she has 0 bonus points. The dead monsters rise again, snarling. Apparently bullets are in a permanent solution. Xiaoqing panics when even headshots fail. They're basically fighting undead DLC. As the blood moon rises, villagers fully morph into redayed, fish-scaled horrors. Surrounded, Xiaoqing demands a plan. Standing still equals death. She turns around and finds Xinghe gone, assuming he ditched her. In truth, Xinghe ran ahead to create distance, yelling for her to move or get swallowed. While sprinting, he keeps firing backward to slow the pursuing horde. Xiaoqing says shooting is pointless, but Xinghe coolly replies it depends on the goal. The bullets can't kill, but they knock monsters down, buying precious escape time. After frantic running, they circle back to the rocky area where the demoness was chained. Xinghe points out Ling Xuzi knew about the villagers' curse yet led them in. Super suspicious. He concludes that while the demoness is dangerous, she's not on the Taoist side, so she's usable. The demoness smirks, teasing that Xinghe returned to quench her thirst again. Xinghe immediately kisses her to boost favorability, and the system confirms intimacy points rising. Realizing the mechanic, he recklessly spams kisses to max favor fast danger be damned. Right then, the village monsters arrive, roaring as they encircle all three. Xiaoqing freaks out seeing Xinghe still grinding favorability while doom closes in. Xinghe stops, panting. When the favorability bar stalls, apparently she's no longer thirsty. Still pleased, the demoness decides to help once since Xinghe entertained her. She snaps her fingers, conjuring a ring of purple fire that repels the monsters. They're extremely fire-phobic. Xiaoqing tearfully hugs Xinghe, thinking he sacrificed his dignity to save them. Xinghe stands frozen, utterly baffled by this undeserved emotional credit. The demoness laughs beside them, enjoying the chaotic human drama like a soap opera. Xiaoqing snaps back to reality. They're still surrounded, and the demoness is chained in place. Xinghe studies the situation, knowing that without a new plan, all three die here. Xinghe inspects the chain on Daji and spots a lock cue risky unlock idea. He pokes it with his keychain like a budget locksmith, praying for miracle RNG. Daji laughs bitterly, saying it's the 1000-year dragon-bending lock made for archdemons, no brute force allowed. Yet the lock clicks open, leaving Daji stunned that this mere human pulled it off. The system dings, female lead favorability rises, rescue move highly effective. Xinghe grins, claiming it's just a lock-picking trick he learned from his sister, no superpowers involved. The system reveals her true name as Daji, and Xinghe nearly chokes. Legendary fox demon confirmed. He realizes hidden quest farm points faster than main quest's long-term survival hack unlocked. The moment Daji is freed, the mutated villagers scatter in terror like prey spotting a predator. Daji rises like a reborn queen, coldly declaring her former tormentors will pay today. As she prepares to incinerate them, Xinghe grabs her hand and begs mercy. Then he shockingly reattaches the dragon-bending lock, casually admitting he plays dirty when needed. Next morning, barking echoes everywhere, giving chained Daji a splitting headache. A goofy curly-haired man stands before her, barking like a dog, clueless as teasing a fox demon. Daji fumes. First Xing has trickery, now this idiot thinking she's a pet. Right then, Ling Suzy appears, politely greeting the newcomer from the outside world. The curly-haired guy innocently introduces himself as Kai Egwen, making things even weirder. Ling Suzy instantly clocks his low IQ and starts plotting to exploit him. He lures Kai Egwen back to the village under the excuse of explaining local dangers. Meanwhile, Xinghe and Xiaoqing return to Longtan village to investigate, and she still questions why he rechained Daji. Xinghe calmly reminds her Daji was once captured by Ling Suzy, meaning she's weaker than the Taoist. The mission only requires surviving 3 days, so confronting Ling Suzy now equals suicide. Xiaoqing realizes freeing the fox demon publicly would paint targets on their backs. But Xinghe's thinking bigger. He plans to swap in a fake chain and steal the dragon-binding lock artifact. Ling Suzy returns and is stunned to see them alive. Last night's scheme clearly flopped. Xinghe shoots him a provocative look, silently signaling the jig is up. Spotting Kai Egwen's modern clothes, Xinghe confirms he's the third teammate. Quick math, 5 players total, meaning one last teammate remains. Xinghe suddenly points at Ling Suzy, claiming he's the teammate just to test his reaction. The system stays silent, but Ling Suzy's flicker of panic screams suspicion. Kai Egwen greets Xinghe like an old friend, confusing everyone. Xinghe insists they've never met, yet the guy's familiarity feels oddly genuine. Xiaoqing asks why he didn't enter the village last night. He says he wandered outside. Simple logic, he knew night monsters roam the village, so why walk into doom? Xiaoqing grudgingly admits the idiot's answer is annoyingly correct. Hearing this, Ling Suzy spins a lie that Kai Egwen was bewitched by the fox demon, hence staying out. He leads them to a waterfall where villagers bury a black coffin as a sacrifice to the dragon god. According to him, outsiders are offered up to gain power and eternal life from the dragon god. Xinghe deduces the black coffin likely holds their final teammate slated for sacrifice. The system confirms they've located the 4th teammate of the mission. Ling Suzy smugly plans that half-truths are enough to earn trust and lure them into his trap, but Xinghe sees through the half-truth trick and decides to fake being fooled to counter-scheme. As night falls, the black coffin is lowered into the water pool, its ripples signaling the sacrifice has begun. Right after, the villagers mutate, their bodies twisting like freshly risen corpses. Their red eyes glow in the dark, mouths emitting eerie sounds that chill the air. The noise makes Xiaoqing clutch her ears, feeling her eardrums about to burst. Ling Suzy calls it the dragon chant, a mimicry to worship the dragon god while secretly mocking the rookies. Xinghe activates the clear mind spell to resist it and realizes the sound links to mutated fish creatures. Noticing Ling Suzy's odd move, Xinghe grabs him and demands to know what he's up to. Ling Suzy panics. Xinghe isn't affected by the dragon chant, so the plan must pivot. He pretends he only meant to cover Xiaoqing's mouth to avoid alerting villagers. Too late, the scream exposes their location to the mutated horde. Ling Suzy fakes panic and tells everyone to run, still acting the savior. Xinghe sighs, knowing the Taoist never planned to save them anyway. Suddenly Kai Egwen charges in, thrilled like he's playing tag with monsters. The monsters swarm and Xiaoqing falls behind in the chaos. Xinghe spins back and grabs her hand before she's swallowed alive. Arguing while sprinting, they dash through Longtan village with roars at their heels. Xinghe heads back to the water pool, betting the most dangerous place is the least expected hideout. Hiding in a tree-root cave, Xinghe suddenly feels dizzy and unbearably thirsty. Xiaoqing notices abnormal dehydration symptoms but can't explain why. While searching, she picks up a strange key from the ground. Xinghe senses someone nearby, alert to suspicious signs in the dark. Xiaoqing finds it's just a corpse, though Xinghe is stunned by her calmness. She explains she was once a forensic intern. Dead bodies are old acquaintances. Looking closer, Xinghe recognizes the corpse as the man who warned him earlier. Xiaoqing notes the body is drained dry yet still warm, an extremely abnormal death. Even stranger, the victim's hands are cuffed with modern police restraints, definitely not from this world. Xinghe concludes the man was another transmigrator and likely a teammate. Xiaoqing suspects Ling Suzi killed him, but Xinghe disagrees. The nearby key suggests the man locked himself involuntarily, not imprisoned. Xiaoqing shudders, realizing he may have confined himself here to die. Suddenly, the corpse's belly splows and explodes as a small demon bursts out. Xinghe pulls Xiaoqing aside and immediately draws his gun at the newborn creature. But it's so fast it dodges every bullet like a ghost. Xinghe curses the thing's speed makes hitting it nearly impossible. Just as he prepares another shot, he discovers he's out of ammo. Fantastic timing. Still calm, Xinghe assures Xiaoqing that they won't be the ones dying. He spends system points to instantly exchange for a Barrett sniper rifle and a single high-powered round. One thunder shot later, the massive bullet obliterates the demon into cave confetti. Afterward, Xinghe coughs violently, face pale, sensing something terribly wrong. Examining the remains, Xiaoqing finds the creature nearly hollow, just bones filled with human blood. Hearing this, Xinghe presses for details, feeling a crucial puzzle piece click. Xiaoqing explains different species have different blood colors, so bright red means human. Xinghe clenches his teeth. The worst-case scenario he feared is real. He theorizes the corpse was parasitized and drained of water, though Xiaoqing doesn't grasp his dread yet. Xinghe concludes the villagers are all hosts to monster embryos, that's why they're perpetually soaked. These embryos force hosts to guzzle water before devouring them from the inside out. Xinghe stares at GC's corpse and realizes the man locked himself up to avoid becoming a monster. Worse still, even a dead host can birth a new generation of parasites. Xinghe turns pale as showing the same parasitic symptoms. Xiaoqing suggests finding water to keep him hydrated one more day and clear the mission. Problem: the only water source is Longton Lake Parasite Central. In despair, Xiaoqing suddenly thinks of an alternative hydration method. She lifts Xinghe's face, ready to risk everything to keep him moist literally. In an awkward blur, they share their first kiss to transfer life-saving moisture. Flustered, Xiaoqing apologizes, thinking she's no match for Foxdom and Daji. Xinghe smiles gently, thanking her and saying she did great. Xiaoqing blushes hard, insisting it was strictly medical, nothing else. They leave the cave and return to Longton Lake under the cold moonlight. Xinghe rejects waiting for dawn. No one promised monsters clock out at sunrise. Asked who claimed they only appear at night, Xiaoqing recalls it was Ling Suzi. Xinghe grows wary. The Taoist's true identity remains a giant question mark. He notes that when a mission nears completion, a final boss usually spawns. To survive the last day, they must uncover Longton's core secret. Xinghe deduces every anomaly traces back to this very lake. Without hesitation, he dives straight to the lake's bottom for answers. 10 minutes pass and he doesn't resurface. Xiaoqing panics. Calculating human breath limits she fears has already drowned. Despite poor swimming skills, Xiaoqing decides to dive in and save him. She refuses to let the man who saved her for 2 days die like this. With resolve, she plunges into the lake to drag Xinghe back. She dives deep into Longton's depths searching for him. At the bottom, she sees Xinghe floating motionless and assumes the worst. She prepares to give him oxygen, knowing it's only a short-term fix. But getting closer, she's stunned his wearing diving gear. Xiaoqing feels embarrassed and annoyed for worrying over nothing. Meanwhile, Shiz freezing and running out of oxygen underwater. Xinghe had already redeemed diving gear for her via system points and signals her over. At the lake bed, his unchaining the black coffin once used for sacrifice. Xiaoqing hurriedly claims she dove down only to repay his kindness. Xinghe dryly reminds her has saved her multiple times, leaving her flustered and irritated. When the coffin opens, inside lies a massive merfolk-like corpse, stunning Xiaoqing. Xinghe notices its scales aren't fish scales but resemble strange dragon scale clusters. He suspects this corpse was the dragon god the villagers worship. Buried nearby, he also finds a stone tablet engraved Longton Village. Suddenly, Xiaoqing spots something rapidly swimming toward them. A swarm of redayed aquatic monsters rushes in, surrounding them in dark water. Xiaoqing panics. They're encircled by monster fish on all sides. Calmly, Xinghe points upward. There's still an escape route and swims up. Behind them, the monster fish suddenly cry for help in human voices. Xiaoqing doubts her ears, since when do monsters plead? Desperately, the fish insist they are the true villagers of Longton. Xiaoqing doesn't buy it. Their monstrous forms scream otherwise. Ignoring warnings, Xinghe swims back down to confront them. He bluntly asks if they are truly Longton's villagers. The merfolk claim the land monsters are actually lake fish wearing human skins. They explain a dragon was once chained in Longton by the dragon bending lock. After the dragon died, lake fish ate its flesh and evolved into intelligent monster fish. During a ritual, the fish attacked and dragged the entire village underwater. The fish skinned the villagers, wore their hides, and strolled ashore living their best human lives. So the villagers are fish in cosplay, while the real humans are trapped underwater. The system confirms Longton's truth and showers Xinghe with Hidenquist points. Xinghe eyes the dragon skeleton below. Top-tier crafting material jackpot. He promptly sweeps all the dragon bones into his system storage. The merfolk see this and regain hope. These two are clearly not average NPCs. They reveal the nine-tailed fox, Daji, was tricked by the Fish King into being bound by the dragon-binding lock. The Fish King seeks dragonhood, harvesting dragon embryos from the corpse to incubate inside Daji. Her powerful body can host multiple dragon embryos at once. Premium incubator model. Xiaoqing realizes the earlier parasites were just failed baby dragons. Xinghe suddenly understands Daji used that kiss to transfer dragon embryos into him. She wasn't thirsty, she was shopping for a new host. The stalled favorability now makes sense, the embryos had fully migrated to him. The system suggests spending points to refine dragon blood into a mixed blood lineage to survive. A new quest appears: rescue the villagers or eliminate the disguised fish monsters ashore. Xiaoqing pleads to save them, but Xinghe knows has already a ticking time bomb. Even so, he drafts a bold plan and asks the villagers to cooperate. On land, Daji is mocked by Ling Suzi, actually the fish king, who gloats about her impending dragon birth. Daji erupts, shattering the dragon-bending lock and engaging him in battle. The fish king panics, the embryos should have drained her, not powered her up. Daji realizes he secretly helped free her earlier, deepening her intrigue in this sly human. The system reports the nine-tailed fox favorability soaring, their linked power hits a new tier. After surfacing, Xinghe finds teammates and confirms Kai Egwin is still alive. The curly-haired guy runs over, complaining and reintroducing himself while monsters chase from behind. Xinghe pulls him aside, whispers a secret plan and assigns a crucial role. As the fish monsters close in, Xinghe stays back to stall while Kai Egwin executes the plan. Watching him leave, Xinghe silently apologizes to Xiaoqing for involving her in danger. He lures the fish monsters to Longtan Waterfall's base and waits for the signal. Looking up, he freezes at the shocking sight above. Xiaoqing hangs tied midair, crying Kai Egwin followed the plan a bit too well. Xinghe leaps onto the rope to save her, asking where Kai Egwin ran off to. Xiaoqing fumes, she can't believe she was the bait all along. Xinghe notes the fish fear water's edge and must be provoked to spring the trap. He starts shamelessly flirting with Xiaoqing to enrage the monsters below. He keeps taunting, describing the delicious prey in front of him to trigger them. Finally provoked, the fish monsters lose control and charge upward. Xinghe grins, the prey has taken the hook. He shouts for the true villagers underwater to launch their counterattack. The fish-turned villagers surge up, dragging the human-skinned imposters back into the lake. Xinghe coolly remarks the best hunters always disguise themselves as prey. The system confirms the revenge quest complete and rewards massive points. Elsewhere, Ling Suzi, true identity fish king, flees, unwilling to face Daji head-on. He still can't grasp how she broke the dragon-bending lock and regained power. Daji appears behind him, cutting off escape. The fish king boasts his offspring have overrun the village she's surrounded. Xinghe steps out, correcting him, actually Hez the one surrounded. The fish king is stunned to see Xinghe's team still alive. He laughs madly and orders all fish monsters to attack. Xinghe calmly declares the real villagers have reclaimed their identities and are striking back. Panic sets in as the fish king realizes his grand scheme has collapsed. With no options left, he dives into Longtan to revert to his true monstrous form. Daji wraps Xinghe in amused embrace, fascinated by his brains and buried secrets. At the lake bed, the fish king sees his slaughtered offspring and goes berserk. A terrifying aura erupts as he bursts from the water. In colossal fish form, he roars that Xinghe ruined everything. He warns the cycle of vengeance will never end if killing continues. Xinghe coldly replies the only way to stop revenge is to wipe out the enemy. Furious, the fish king declares only one side will leave alive. He unleashes a massive water vortex straight at Xinghe. Daji instantly transforms into her nine-tailed fox form, blocking it and claiming the prey as hers. Amid tension, Xiaoqing still doesn't grasp the true goal. Xinghe hints the real target lies behind. Daji spews blazing immortal fire, aiming to pin him at the lake before things spiral. Her forced overlord power explodes, overwhelming the battlefield in seconds. The strike slams Ling Suzi into rock, shaking heaven and earth. Xiaoqing thinks it's over. But Daji senses his aura persists, the blow wasn't fatal. Two colossal whirlpools erupt from Longtan, charging at Daji. Backup plan revealed. The water binds instead of strikes. Ling Suzi laughs, trap successfully sprung. He reveals he hid his true body in Longtan water is his domain, the Fox Bane. With Daji restrained, he turns to Xiaoqing and Xinghe. Next sacrifice is cued. Seeing their savior in peril, Longtan's villagers step forward, ready to trade their lives for time. They urge Xinghe to flee, believing his life outweighs theirs. Xinghe looks at them gratefully, knowing retreat means total annihilation. So he suddenly charges into the lake, shocking everyone like a man courting death. Ling Suzi watches with disdain and curiosity. Is this human foolish or fearless? He decides to kill Xinghe at full power, final respect for bold prey. Xinghe calmly says if they're fighting, first drain the lake. Ling Suzi scoffs, dismissing it as dying bravado. He hurls another vortex, but Xinghe sidesteps smoothly, eyes calculating. Meanwhile, the village chief mistakes Xinghe's dive as honorable suicide and calls for mass martyrdom. The villagers prepare to jump in, but Xiaoqing frantically stops them. This isn't what it seems. Ling Suzi enjoys the tragedy, thinking his enemies self-destructed. Suddenly, a massive whirlpool forms below, even making him uneasy. The system announces the well-drilling machine has activated. Xinghe's preloaded surprise. Xinghe deduced an underground river Kai Egwin drilled through, waiting to drain it all at once. He taunts Ling Suzi, the water's gone. Let's see the fish without its pond. Ling Suzi freezes as he realizes the arrogance was deadly serious. Still, he charges in rage, claiming sheer strength crushes trickery. In his mind, killing Xinghe remains as easy as squashing an ant. Xinghe coolly replies this time, he's not the one fighting. He calls out Daji, exposing her fake death act while waiting for timing. Daji smiles seductively, admitting she tested him but he saw through it. She concedes she's weakened and must gather forest spirit energy to finish the fish. Ling Suzi laughs, confident he won't let them reach the woods. Xinghe calmly says he'll plow the field for her. Daji misreads it as battlefield flirting. Sing-hee activates a device and tells Daji to leave before this entire land gets buried. A colossal explosion shook the ground, dust blanketing the battlefield as everyone assumed both fighters were toast. Hiding behind a mountain, Sing-hee chuckled it was just Systembot TNT, pure science, zero magic. In the forest, Daji gathered spiritual energy, transforming into a gigantic nine-tailed fox and declaring the tables officially turned. Facing the nine-tailed queen, Ling Shuzi instantly panicked and begged for mercy. But then a sudden downpour began, and Ling Shuzi cackled as the weather decided to be his wingman. The rain infuriated Daji, knowing water was exactly what that monster fish needed to recharge. Realizing delay meant doom, she launched a relentless assault, determined to end it ASAP. Under the rain, Ling Shuzi moved like a fish in water, dodging everything and laughing like destiny just swiped right on him. Circling Daji to annoy her, he bragged that with water, all his stats skyrocketed. Meanwhile, the rain weakened Daji, her body shrank and her demon power visibly dropped. Seeing the Firefox suppressed, Ling Shuzi grew smug, convinced victory was just a waiting game. He decisively triggered his dragon transformation, scales and claws sprouting as he tried to upgrade himself. Xiaoqing was horrified, thinking he'd become a real dragon, but Xing-hee saw the process was glitching. Ling Shuzi quickly corrected himself, arrogantly claiming this wasn't transformation, it was evolution. He roared that it waited ages for this day, planning to devour the dragon embryo inside the fox to become a true dragon. At Long Tan, he screamed destiny is mine and ranted about a fish turning into a true dragon like fate owed him money. Instead of a dragon, his body twisted grotesquely, leaving even him panicking in confusion. Watching from afar, Aiguan eyed the mutant creature with the curiosity of someone browsing a weird antique shop. Xiaoqing trembled, the monstrosity exceeded her worst imagination. Sing-hee laughed, reminding him the dragon embryo had long been transferred to his own body, making the whole dragon plan a joke. He immediately urged Daji to prepare the next move. The board had flipped again. Realizing his dragon dream had flopped, Ling Shuzi screamed in madness, refusing to accept reality. Declaring his grotesque form the real true dragon, he unleashed waves of black light at the villagers. The black rays pierced bodies, making villagers foam and mutate in agony. Many quickly twisted into monsters, turning Long Tan into a live-action hellscape. Ling Shuzi laughed wildly, claiming if the whole world rotted like him, he'd still be the only true dragon. The villagers fled in panic, trying to avoid the dark light before they joined the monster club. Fueled by hatred, Ling Shuzi charged at Xing-hee, blaming him for ruining his dragon fantasy. He threatened to corrupt Xing-hee into a monster and force him to hunt the very people he swore to protect. Seeing their benefactor targeted, the villagers rushed forward, forming a human shield before Xing-hee. They chose to guard him with their bodies, fully aware death could clock in any time. Even as they mutated, they screamed for Xing-hee to run before it was too late. Ling Shuzi mocked their sacrifice, saying they'd soon become minions, killing their own savior. Xing-hee realized there was no retreat and chose to gamble even if it meant abandoning his humanity. The system spent 1,000 points to convert the dragon embryo into dragon blood genes, unlocking the SS Dragon Sign class. A massive golden dragon wrapped around Xing-hee, unleashing an overwhelming aura. He gained the basic skill dragon scale form, though its true power remained a mystery. Xing-hee used the skill to create dragon scale eggs, shielding the villagers, blocking the black light cold. The system warned that SS was just potential, his current level was too low to unlock attack skills. Even so, Xing-hee refused to hide in the dragon eggs. If they fled, the surviving villagers would have no future. Aiguan suddenly activated his strength class and kicked a dragon egg like a cannonball. Xing-hee realized Aiguan was also a pseudo-class focused on raw strength. That explained the kick. The dragon egg slammed into Ling Shuzi, who panicked when he couldn't crack the dragon scales. Seeing a chance to clap back, the villagers roared to join the fight and avenge their loved ones. Xing-hee kept spawning dragon scale eggs to shield everyone, turning them into mobile fortresses ready to counterattack. Aiguan gleefully carried a dragon egg on his back like a shiny new weapon, leaving Xiaoqing stunned. Inside one egg, Xiao Li shouted that she wanted to personally smash the monster who killed her grandpa. Aiguan maxed out his strength class and hurled the egg straight at Ling Shuzi. He then grabbed more villagers' eggs and tossed them like cannonballs, turning the battlefield into a bizarre shot-put contest. Pummeled nonstop by dragon eggs, Ling Shuzi screamed in humiliation at nearly losing to this absurd tactic. Xiaoqing watched in awe, feeling like she was witnessing a battle strategy from the future. Badly wounded, Ling Shuzi collapsed and begged for mercy, hoping Xing-hee would go easy. When Xing-hee said he'd agree halfway, the monster fish nervously asked, which half? Xing-hee coldly fired the finishing shot, declaring the world had no room for a fish like him. With the boss down, the skies cleared and the system announced mission complete with juicy rewards. Xing-hee examined a mutated drop of dragon blood from Ling Shuzi, surprised it even dropped rare gear. The Long Tan villagers knelt in unison, thanking their benefactor for saving the village. They bowed and hailed Xing-hee as the savior of the entire region. Faced with the grand scene, Xing-hee awkwardly fumbled, unsure how to respond. Just then, Daji shrank into a little fox and lipped onto him, making Xing-hee mistake her for a stray dog. From the fox heart, she felt even more drawn to his calmness before both Demon King and worshipping crowd. The system announced Daji's favorability hit 100, activating the Rebel Codex and related job awakening. A card appeared introducing Daji as the world-toppling Great Demon of Qingqiu, a name passed down through Fox Queens. Thanks to that, Xing-hee awakened a second-rank class illusionist. The system explained illusionists manipulate reality and deception in complex battles. Xinghe pondered the unevolved gene warning, but shelved it. Bigger issues awaited. He suddenly remembered Xiaoli and asked the villagers where Shed gone. They realized Shed been there moments ago but had now vanished, sparking worry. Behind the village, under a tree, Xiaoli sat alone crying her heart out. When Xinghe approached, she choked up, knowing the village chief and many others would never return. Xiaoli added that Xinghe would leave someday too, leaving him speechless. To comfort her, Xinghe pointed at the sky and drew her attention upward. Using projection tech, he created the image of the village chief, which Xiaoli mistook for immortal magic. She rushed forward, calling for her grandpa at the familiar sight. Xinghe sighed behind her, knowing it was just an illusion but the living need hope. When Xiaoli touched it, her hand passed through, startling her. The chief's illusion gently told her to live well before slowly rising into the sky. The image faded, leaving Xiaoli sobbing in despair. Xinghe patted her head and urged her to live bravely, as he would soon depart too. The system announced the 3-day survival mission in Longtan complete and granted extra points. Teleportation light enveloped Xinghe as he waved goodbye to Xiaoli. Back in the transit space, a 6-winged angel appeared, noting quite a few rookies survived this time. Xiaoqing glanced around the strange place, puzzled that it didn't resemble the real world. Aiguan tapped a light orb and casually exchanged reward points for special ammo, baffling the other two. The Enlightenment Tome orb rated their performance B and began gene modification and class selection. The orb warned each chosen could only have one class, so choose wisely. Golden light from massive wings enveloped Xiaoqing, initiating her class transfer. After a while, the wings slowly opened, signaling the awakening was complete. Xiaoqing appeared in a seductive doctor outfit as the system confirmed her rank class evil healer. Xinghe realized class transfer was basically gene replacement, meaning their power could keep evolving. Xiaoqing was stunned by a flood of medical knowledge in her head and curiously asked what class Xinghe awakened. Xinghe stayed silent, making Xiaoqing pout and bring up their kiss like he was hiding state secrets. Xinghe blinked in confusion. According to him, it was just a kiss, nothing scandalous. He noticed neither he nor Aiguan got transfer prompts since they'd already done it last mission. Remembering the beauty codex, Xinghe realized he could actually switch classes multiple times. Xiaoqing tested the orb again and found it could trade almost any item if you had enough points. She immediately grilled Xinghe about how he swapped guns mid-mission at Longtan. Xiaoqing fumed because the system claimed exchanges were only allowed in this space. Xinghe guessed the beauty codex hijacked part of the orb's authority, letting him access the shop anytime. The orb announced the next mission would start in 3 days, and they could stay or return to the real world. Aiguan wanted to hang around for fun. Xiaoqing chose to study, while Xinghe was eager to head back. Before leaving, Xinghe turned and asked Xiaoqing if he didn't even count as her friend. The question made Xiaoqing blush hard, her heart racing at his unexpected warmth. Xinghe returned to reality and found that almost no time had passed. He quickly realized ordinary people couldn't see the monsters he once saw. Fearing he might not return someday, Xinghe rushed to the hospital to check on his sister. On the way, a runaway truck barreled toward a girl who had just spoken to him. Xinghe yanked her aside and activated his newly awakened illusionist power. A giant elephant illusion appeared, blocking the truck and stopping it cold. The system explained illusions could shapeshift or create external spirit entities to fight. These illusions could reach up to 70 of the mimicked creature's strength. The rescued girl looked at Xinghe like he was a superhero. Her boyfriend, however, yelled in jealousy seeing Xinghe holding her. Even the truck driver freaked out at someone stopping a vehicle with bizarre power. At Shanju Hospital, the news reported extreme climate anomalies worldwide. Droughts, floods, and wild weather were pushing the globe into chaos. Standing by his comatose sister, Xinghe worried that if he died in a mission, no one would care for her. Glancing at the TV, he spotted an ice wraith identical to the heavy-armored monster he once fought. Just then, a familiar voice from the next room made Xinghe jolt in recognition. Pulling the curtain aside, he saw Aiguan lying there, yawning on a hospital bed. Aiguan claimed he was from the neighboring ward, making Xinghe suspect it was the psych ward. Suddenly, a female officer entered with her team asking who Yin Xinghe was. She introduced herself from the Longyu Special Bureau and requested his cooperation. They showed monster footage, explaining only Chosen could see them, and the otherworld missions prevented invasions. Xinghe immediately thought of the Heavy Knight and realized it was a true invasion monster. While everyone else stayed tense, Aiguan casually munched barbecue like it was none of his business. He even offered Xinghe a greasy roasted drumstick he was happily chewing. Aiguan bragged about killing a mounted knight outside the village and roasting the horse because he was starving. Xinghe froze, realizing that knight was likely the real mission boss. Captain Longyu snapped him back and asked to continue the ability assessment. She explained placing a hand on the Rubik's Cube would reveal one's class rank through its light. Xinghe calmly placed his hand on the cube under the team's watchful eyes. The cube floated up, and the captain secretly rejoiced, thinking he was at least rank. But the light suddenly went out, leaving the room stunned. The Rubik's Cube descended without a single glow, making the result utterly baffling. While everyone was confused, Xinghe secretly smiled. He knew he was a special case. The Longyu deputy director angrily concluded he was below a rank, basically in tier deadweight. She fumed at personally checking someone she deemed utterly useless. The Longyu team left disappointed, calling the trip a total waste of time. But right after, the Rubik's Cube in the suitcase suddenly reacted strangely. A team member panicked, reporting the testing device had lit up again. The deputy director rushed back, suspecting they'd missed something. At that exact moment, the suitcase exploded, sending everyone into chaos. The pricey testing device was completely destroyed, fueling their frustration. Unaware of the drama, Xing He remembered he could summon characters from the beauty codex. Curious, he tried calling Daji to test how the ability worked. What appeared, however, was just a tiny fox, leaving him speechless. A nurse then entered, reminding him his sister's medical bills were overdue. His phone rang, and Xing He recalled an important investor meeting today. He hurried out after asking the nurse to keep caring for his sister. Xing He took a taxi to the Chinkyu group, hoping to secure funds for treatment. He told himself that if today's pitch worked, medical costs wouldn't be a problem. But at the company gate, security stopped him for lacking an appointment. Even the fox on his shoulder was labeled a pet, making guards more suspicious. Just then, an old man spotted the fox and looked horrified, as if realizing something. While Xing He argued with security, the old man grew more certain of his guess. Furious, the old man slapped the guard aside and respectfully invited Xing He in. Though clueless about what was happening, Xing He was personally escorted inside Chinkyu Group. Staff led him to the CEO's office and asked him to wait. A man claiming to be vice president eyed Xing He with deep suspicion. He bragged about 10 years at the company and accused Xing He of being a fraud. Xing He calmly replied that the vice president's meeting with President So might directly concern him. Right then, Su Jingyu stormed in, furious that someone dared insult Mr. Yun. She and the butler immediately knelt before Xing He, respectfully calling him old ancestor. To communicate with the fox they revered as old ancestor, Su Jingyu even imitated barking. Jia was stunned by her behavior, suspecting this was some secret trial from the old ancestor. He quickly pushed Xing He out and shut the door to avoid disrupting the ritual. Strange music echoed inside as Su Jingyu asked Mr. Yun to wait outside. Vice President Lier Q dropped to his knees, assuming Xing He was a hidden master. Inside, Daji snapped, reminding them she was a fox, not a dog, get it right. Su Jingyu hastily explained that a century ago the old ancestor granted the Su family fortune to build the group. Daji called her over, saying she had an important mission to assign. After hearing the fox plan, Su Jingyu nodded in absolute loyalty. She carried Daji out of the office to arrange everything. Su Jingyu announced she was extremely satisfied with Xing He's plan and agreed to cooperate immediately. She even declared the entire Chinkyu group was his to use, no contract needed. She then ordered the butler to escort Xing He home, deepening his confusion. The car delivered Xing He to a massive estate, and the butler said it now belonged to him. Stepping out, Xing He was still stunned at suddenly becoming a mansion owner. He stared at the luxurious estate, baffled by how absurdly smooth everything had gone. Though sensing hidden motives, Xing He decided to rest and prepare for the next mission. After showering, he wandered the huge villa searching for the missing fox while humming casually. Suddenly, Su Jingyu appeared on his bed in a seductive outfit, freezing Xing He on the spot. The scene shocked him so hard he nearly got a nosebleed from her sudden bold entrance. Xing He forced himself calm, suspecting a trap and scrambling to dodge it. But he slipped on his towel and fell straight toward the bed, great timing. With only centimeters between them, Su Jingyu assumed he was just impatient. Xing He frantically explained, downplaying himself to make her reconsider. Instead, Su Jingyu grew even more respectful, convinced he was the old ancestor's master. Right then, Daji jumped out, scolding Xing He as a foolish ruler for nearly failing a loyalty test. Still confident in his judgment, Xing He told the fox to step aside. The moment he touched Daji, a strange surge of energy burst forth. Xing He panicked upon realizing the fox could actually speak human language. Daji was equally stunned, sensing a powerful energy flowing from his body. Xing He suddenly felt dizzy as his strength drained away. He collapsed unconscious on the spot. 2 days later, Xing He woke up feeling completely drained. Daji cheerfully admitted Shed absorbed his energy to restore herself. From her explanation, Xing He learned Daji had built the Su family empire over a century. Slightly annoyed, he let it slide since the side effects weren't too severe. Just then, a space rift appeared, signaling a new mission. Xing He realized his 3-day coma triggered automatic entry into the next round. The system announced the new task: survive 8 days with 7 other participants. Aiguan and Xiaoqing appeared as well, quickly reforming the old squad. Seeing the newcomers confused, Xing He stepped up to explain the mission world. Within minutes, he laid out the survival rules clearly and efficiently. The system instantly rewarded him 100 points, apparently tutoring newbies pays. Xing He stressed the top priority: gather intel and locate the boss ASAP. But President Wang mocked him, claiming it was all staged kidnapping nonsense. He even threw money around, insisting cash could buy his exit. Watching the chaos, Xing He sighed at how clueless the rookies were. He coldly shoved a gun into President Wang's mouth to demand attention. Then he asked what they'd seen before being teleported, hunting for boss clues. A trembling man said a strange orb hit him before he woke up here. President Wang's mistress added it looked like a giant fireball. Xing He immediately suspected a fireball spell. The boss might be a fire user. Just then, soldiers returned escorting charred corpses back to camp. The system confirmed the female lead was General Ting Qing and granted an extra skill. Xing He examined the burnt bodies, suspecting they were the boss handiwork. But he was startled to see every victim had their eyes gouged out. General Ting Qing quickly summoned military doctors to treat the wounded. Thinking fast, Xing He pushed Xiaoqing forward, introducing her as medically skilled. This spark of hope instantly raised the general's favor toward Xing He. Realizing he could investigate while farming goodwill, Xing He pressed for more details. Ting Qing explained the corpses belonged to scouts missing for half a month. They had discovered the tomb of the giant Kwafu before being burned and driven mad. Survivors had even gouged out their own eyes before being brought back. Xingyi began suspecting the boss was directly tied to Kwafu's tomb. Xiaoqing regretfully stated the bodies were beyond saving. The dashed hope sharply lowered the general's favor. Elsewhere, President Wang and his secretary encountered a colossal giant staring down at them. A soldier rushed in reporting that a giant was attacking Shangzhou City. Xingyi immediately requested to accompany the general to investigate firsthand. He reasoned the burn marks, fireballs, and giant were likely linked to the same boss. Xingyi even shouted a rousing slogan, making the soldiers think he was a seasoned warrior. General Tingqing was moved by his fiery spirit and began trusting him. The system announced the heroine's favorability had risen again. Tingqing decided to arm the rookies before heading to battle. Xinghe's group was led to the army's massive weapons depot. Soldiers allowed them to freely pick any weapon inside. Xinghe pretended to let others choose first, earning extra gratitude points. The quartermaster left early to regroup with the general at the city wall. On the ramparts, Tingqing ordered archers to fire as the giant advanced. Even under a rain of arrows, the monster barely flinched. With one colossal punch, it smashed through the wall, sending troops into panic. The giant stormed inside, forcing defenders into a desperate street battle. Seeing it charge, the commander ordered spears forward hesitate and the line collapses. Thousands of spears pierced the giant, making it roar in pain but not fall. Enraged, it swept soldiers aside like weeds, shattering the initial defense plan. Reports said normal weapons couldn't deal fatal damage, so Mulan ordered the divine cannons deployed. Amid the chaos, Mulan grew disappointed that rookie Xinghe hand appeared, thinking him all talk. The system warned her favorability had dropped sharply, his delay cost trust. When the giant noticed two bystanders, Wang Dahai finally realized this wasn't a movie set but a massacre. To save himself, Wang Dahai pretended to reassure his secretary, then shoved her forward as bait. The giant instantly grabbed her, trapping her in its monstrous grip. Betrayed, she cursed Wang Dahai in despair, realizing she'd been sold out. Wang Dahai coldly smiled, treating her life as a fair trade for his survival. Without hesitation, the giant crushed her, deepening the city's despair. At that moment, Mulan anxiously asked about the cannons, hoping heavy firepower could turn the tide. Bad news struck: the cannons were too heavy to arrive in time, and worse, the entire armory had vanished. As soldiers considered fleeing, a voice behind them declared the situation wasn't hopeless yet. Xinghe appeared atop the wall, late but confident, stunning and moving Mulan. The system showed favorability surging, his timely entrance restored faith. Still, the quartermaster sneered, doubting a rookie could change anything. Xinghe activated summoning magic, raining down weapons and declaring fear only exists when firepower is lacking. Under the magical storm of weapons, the giant was finally gunned down, completing the kill. After victory, Xinghe calmly asked if he'd disappointed the general, impressing Mulan further. The system raised favorability again and unlocked the heroine's true name, signaling his rising status. A soldier recognized the weapons as armory stock and accused Xinghe of theft. Mulan immediately silenced him, refusing to attack the man who saved the city. Deep down, she knew Xinghe took the armory, but without him, the city would fallen. Soldiers still worried with the depot empty, another monster would leave them defenseless. Hearing that, Xinghe casually opened a magic array, releasing thousands of new weapons for free pick. The troops cheered and scrambled for arms, viewing Xinghe as a generous hidden tycoon. Mulan seized the moment to praise Xinghe's righteousness before the entire army. Xinghe secretly reveled as his weapon relocation plan earned applause and more favorability. Mulan then scolded the jealous soldier, pointing out he mocked more than he contributed. She bluntly concluded that without Xinghe, they'd have lost, so some truths were better left buried. While everyone celebrated, Xinghe thought deeper and realized these giants weren't tied to the fireball boss. A soldier asked how to handle the giant's corpse. This monster was unprecedented. Xiaoqing eagerly volunteered to dissect it, thrilled for giant-sized research material. While waiting, Xinghe questioned Mulan about the earlier expedition and reinforcements. Their fate felt fishy. Mulan admitted only one survivor remained, her hesitation hinting at a big secret. She chose to personally take Xinghe to meet the survivor, believing he'd understand once he saw him. Mulan led them to a tall house at Shangzhou's corner, where the mysterious survivor was kept. Pointing at the elevated house, she said the survivor was inside, making Xinghe suspect confinement. Mulan denied it. The soldier requested darkness himself, claiming light drove him mad. Xinghe entered the pitch-black room with Xiaoqing and the fox Deji. He explained Xiaoqing had to come, she was the only doctor who could spot bodily anomalies. As the door shut, a panicked voice screamed to seal it tight, or they would notice. Thanks to spirit sight, Xinghe suddenly saw clearly in the dark, realizing a new ability had activated. Deji explained Shed shared the demon clan's spirit sight, letting him see spiritual energy in darkness. What he saw wasn't real light, but images reconstructed by spiritual power. When Xiaoqing tried opening a window, the soldier freaked out, terrified they would find him. Xinghe stopped her, recalling Mulan's warning that light could trigger madness. Through spirit sight, he saw the soldier curled in a corner, muttering that eyes were tools for them to monitor humans. Deji sensed surrounding spiritual energy like watching eyes, traces of some hidden entity. She warned that even spiritual remnants could attack and shouldn't be underestimated. Xinghe approached calmly, saying Mulan sent him to ask about Chenggu. Seeing the soldier too unstable, Xinghe decided drastic measures were needed. He suddenly threw Daji at the phantom eyes, deliberately disrupting their focus. Seizing the chance, Xinghe demanded to know what they encountered half a month ago. The soldier said they found the tomb of the legendary giant Kuo-fu and opened the coffin. The giant's body was intact after 1,000 years, but its eye sockets were empty and its body scorched. Anyone who touched it burned to death without visible flames. He believed it was horrific fire poison. Xinghe frowned. If Kuo-fu had no eyes, why were watching eyes involved? The soldier raved that everything seen was fake, and they only wanted humans to see their way. Just as the secret neared revelation, red spiritual energy burst in, shattering the wall. Daji stood in the glow, confidently claiming Shed destroyed the weak attacking force. The system suddenly granted Xinghe an golden mask, capable of blocking the burning eyes. As he questioned its use, Xinghe noticed the soldier had vanished. Rushing outside, he saw the soldier atop the wall, gouging out his own eyes before leaping. The soldier cried it was too late, they had already found him. He confessed he survived by abandoning comrades and had lived in guilt ever since. Before jumping, he warned Xinghe not to trust his eyes, they were the enemy's surveillance tools. Xinghe slammed the wall in frustration, so close, yet he couldn't save him. Daji asked the next plan, but Xiaoqing said the clue wasn't entirely lost. She recalled the soldier's words about monitoring eyes, believing there was truth in it. From her dissection, Xiaoqing found the giant's eyeballs fully necrotic, meaning it had been blind. Xinghe deduced the true boss might be tied to eyes and the very light humans perceive. He recalls the legend of Kuo-fu chasing the sun, sensing the real truth is hiding behind that myth. Beneath the building, Mulan quietly has the despairing soldier buried with somber efficiency. Xinghe broods over the line the truth lies with Kuo-fu, trying to stitch the clues together. An old man suddenly appears and begins retelling the ancient tale of Kuo-fu and the giant tribe. Watching the soldier tremble in the dark, Xinghe realizes it wasn't madness, it was pure nightmare fuel. The old man says a brutal drought scorched the land, so Kuo vowed to chase the sun to save his people. Despite his tribe's protests, Kuo-fu chased the sun to death, leaving behind an unfinished legend. The Tudani-haired girl objects, claiming the true legend says Kuo-fu actually fought the sun. In that version, Kuo-fu pursued it to Tang Valley and began a life-or-death battle with the so-called sun. After slaying one sun, its flame fell into Kuo-fu's eye sockets, thus humans gained their eyes. The old man theorizes the sun in myth might have been an alien race that invaded Earth. If so, ancient humans lost and were parasitized, and our eyes are the invaders' handy tools. Xinghe is stunned by the idea that human eyes are parasitic organisms reproducing through bodies. The old man reassures them they're outsiders to this world, so the parasite can't affect them for now. Just as everyone sighs in relief, hurried footsteps suddenly echo from afar. An armored squad like Mulan's troops surrounds them, and the tension spikes instantly. Xiaoqing whispers to Xinghe that someone seems to be missing from the formation. She angrily realizes Iguan has vanished, clearly ditching the team like a pro. Mulan recognizes the opposing commander as Jinjia of the Khan's Imperial Guard and demands answers. Commander Ling Tian accuses Xinghe of killing a soldier and orders him captured alive or killed if he resists. Injured hand and all, Mulan blocks with her sword, insisting the soldier fell on his own. She secretly suspects something's off. The Khan reacted far too fast. Ling Tian snaps that if Mulan protects them, she's an accomplice too. Xinghe steps forward, telling Mulan to back off, this trap isn't worth dragging her into. He coldly suggests to Ling Tian that the two of them have a private chat to clear things up. Xinghe transforms into a lightning-wrapped black wolf and charges straight at him. In seconds, Ling Tian is beaten senseless and bawling for mercy. Xinghe returns to human form, joking that their talk was very civilized. Terrified, Ling Tian instantly switches to flattery and calls him Yunji. Mulan watches, half helpless, half amused, as her system boosts her favorability towards Xinghe. When Xinghe casually mentions visiting the Khan, Ling Tian eagerly volunteers to lead the way. Mulan warns that the Khan has lived 300 years and is not to be underestimated. Xinghe is shocked by the lifespan but calmly thanks her for the warning. Mulan grows more suspicious, sensing the Khan had targeted them all along. Just then, a soldier rushes in with urgent news about the defense roster. He reports the city recruited no new soldiers recently and found a strange corpse on the drill ground. The corpse's outfit matches the fake recruits exactly, and Mulan begins to grasp the terrifying truth. Meanwhile, Ling Tian continues escorting Xinghe's group straight into the royal palace. In the Grand Hall, the Khan sits armored and masked on the throne like a living statue. Xinghe notices the Khan's mask looks eerily like the golden mask he just obtained. Using clairvoyant script art, Xiaoqing observes and instantly senses something terribly wrong with the Khan's body. Horrified, she realizes the Khan shows zero signs of life, he should be a corpse. Yet the Khan calmly thanks them for resisting the giants and helping Shangzhou. He then offers them a chance to atone by officially joining his army. Smiling, the Khan says truth doesn't matter, reality depends on their choice. Xinghe's group sees the system forcing a faction choice, and Xiaoqing sighs that joining humanity is their only option. A familiar voice suddenly objects, declaring they still have another option. A Guan appears out of nowhere, blade at the Khan's throat, wearing a bronze mask that blinds surveillance. Ling Tian panics and orders the Imperial Guards to seal the hall. An assassin is present. Xiaoqing nervously realizes the hostage-taker looks exactly like the Guan who vanished earlier. A Guan calls for overthrowing the Khan, arguing the throne's sitter isn't more qualified than them. Ling Tian horrifically realizes his invitation to the palace now looks like aiding a rebellion. Xiaoqing tries to stop it, warning the place is packed with Imperial Guards. This is pure madness. At that moment, the guards flood into the hall, like a tidal wave ready to crush Xing He's group. The Khan erupts with eye-fire power, declaring coldly that no one may insult him. Flames shoot from his eyes toward Xing He's group. Obey and live, resist and die. Xing He notices the eye-fire matches earlier clues the Khan might actually be the boss. He immediately activates Dragon Scale Transformation, ready to fight before chaos worsens. But the two colored-haired girl suddenly turns into a giant, admitting she swapped human eyes to infiltrate the city. Calling herself Ling Ling, she urges them to join the giants as the system opens the faction choice. Xiaoqing almost picks randomly but freezes after seeing Xing He and the old man calmly waiting. Ling Ling fumes that human eyes devoured most of her giant power. Xing He chooses the giant faction to ensure a safe retreat and asks Ling Ling to evacuate everyone. Xiaoqing and the others also select the giants and are lifted onto Ling Ling's enormous hand. Xing He stays behind to cover them, telling them to leave first and shut the palace doors. Only Ling Tian remains with Xing He, panicking because fighting or not fighting both mean death. The Khan coldly orders Xing He's capture, trapping Ling Tian in an impossible dilemma. Suddenly Xing He declares he joins the human faction, shocking both Ling Tian and the Khan. The Khan laughs, mocking him as a coward who pretended to be heroic but still surrendered. Xing He scatters flour everywhere, revealing the surrender was just a time-buying trick. Activating Dragon Scale Transformation, he ignites the dust, turning the hall into a giant explosion trap. The flour dust detonates instantly, throwing the Khan and soldiers into fiery chaos. While the others escape, Xiaoqing worries whether Xing He survived the blast. The old man smells flour and instantly realizes Xing He created a deadly dust explosion. The entire area shakes violently inside a storm of smoke and debris. A dragon egg shield carrying Xing He rockets out of the palace toward Mulan's camp. Meanwhile, Mulan is bathing and worrying about Xing He, unaware of the incoming surprise. Suddenly, the dragon egg crashes straight into her bathtub, splashing water everywhere. A soldier rushes in reporting the palace explosion but freezes at the bizarre scene. Furious, Mulan throws a ladle of water at him and kicks him out before rumors start. The eggshell dissolves, revealing Xing He awkwardly greeting Mulan in the tub. The system raises Mulan's affection again, leaving Xing He completely confused. Xing He suspects Daji used charm magic to make the situation even messier. The fox spirit hides away giggling, satisfied after revenge for being called a dog earlier. Mulan jumps up angrily, scolding Xing He for barging into her tent at night. Xing He awkwardly looks away, urging her to maintain some dignity in this situation. Mulan instead thinks if Xing He is strong enough to protect Shangzhou, she is willing to test him personally. Without waiting, Mulan steps forward and kisses him like a bold challenge. After repeated provocation, Xing He finally snaps, admitting he's held back long enough. He declares forgive the offense before accepting the stubborn general's challenge. The two tumble into a fierce love battle in the tent while soldiers outside whisper wildly. Next morning, Mulan smiles, admitting Xing He has completely convinced her. She gently helps him dress, and even calls him husband in front of everyone. The system confirms Xing He has fully conquered Mulan, unlocking the beauty album and maxing her affection. However, Mulan warns that traces of their arrival were discovered someone may have infiltrated. Xing He calmly reassures her that he already understands the situation. Just then, a soldier rushes in panic, reporting the giants are attacking the city again. Mulan immediately drags Xing He to the wall since he has experience fighting giants. Xing He tries persuading her to stop serving the Khan, but Mulan reveals her family once had a traitor. To restore her clan's honor, she swore absolute loyalty to the throne, even if the Khan is wrong. Xing He coldly calls such blind loyalty nothing more than outdated feudal stupidity. Though angry, Mulan slaps a soldier who disrespects Xing He to preserve his dignity. She decides to pause the argument since fighting giants is the urgent matter. Knowing she won't listen, Xing He secretly initiates Plan B. He hands a vial of giant spinal fluid to Daji and tells her to prepare. The fox spirit Daji confidently accepts the mission and immediately leaves to execute the plan. On the wall, Mulan urgently asks for the enemy situation. A trembling soldier reports nearly all giants from Yanggu Valley are marching here. The system issues a mission for the human faction, defend the city for the reward of a third eye. Meanwhile, the giant faction receives a mission to exterminate humanity and hunt Xing He. The giants suddenly go berserk and charge the walls, terrifying Xiaoqing. She realizes they went mad after spotting Xing He and suspects he chose the human faction. Xing He only smiles at Xiaoqing's panic questioning, confusing her even more. When a giant attacks Xing He, Mulan instantly rushes out to block the punch. She declares no one may harm her husband, leaving everyone nearby stunned. Standing behind Mulan, Xing He deliberately provokes every giant on the battlefield. He openly insults them all as trash to pull the entire hatred onto himself. Xiaoqing panics as Xing He intentionally stacks even more giant aggro. Xing He announces he'll bear the giants' rage alone so human soldiers stay safe. The soldiers are moved, seeing him as a heroic martyr. Elsewhere among ruins, a buried arm begins to move. Daji quickly finds the buried Khan and approaches him. The Khan wakes up confused just as the fox spirit walks toward him. Daji transforms into a beauty and uses charm magic to lower his guard. While his entranced, she injects giant spinal fluid straight into his body. The Khan suddenly transforms into a giant, prompting Daji to shout that Plan B has begun. The bandage-wrapped giant Khan starts marching toward the capital where Xing He waits. Soldiers panic seeing a giant inside the city. While Xing He is pleased the plan worked, he pretends to worry about the Khan, while knowing the real disaster is still coming. Xing He rallies the soldiers to kill the giant to rescue the Khan, actually guiding them into his trap. Stirred by loyalty, the soldiers cheer and charge into battle behind Xinghe. Xinghe leads the suicide squad straight toward the giant Khan. On the wall, Mulan is baffled why her husband now leads troops to save the Khan he wanted to overthrow. Her aide admires Xinghe, claiming he must be orchestrating an enormous strategy. Mulan still worries that if giants chase Xinghe, the soldiers following him will be in danger. The aide explains they follow Xinghe because they think they only need to fight one giant instead of many. In his view, Xinghe is exploiting human nature to force them into battle. Hearing this, Mulan blushes, thinking all of Xinghe's actions are to protect her. Among the giants, Xiaoqing grows confused as Xinghe's plan becomes harder to understand. Wu Yu calmly analyzes the tactic as coordination between inside and outside forces. She believes Xinghe is deceiving both factions to attack the Khan simultaneously. Xinghe stands on the bandaged giant's shoulder, urging soldiers to kill it and avenge the Khan. Amid the chaos, Xiaoqing finally realizes the bandage-wrapped giant is actually the Khan himself. Attacked by both factions, the giant Khan lets out an earth-shaking roar. From afar, Mulan feels uneasy as the battlefield shifts east toward the seaside wall. At the eastern wall, Xinghe and A Guan watch the chaotic fight below. Xinghe is stunned when the scene suddenly changes from a palace to a collapsing city wall. He realizes their location has bizarrely shifted, as if the earlier scene was swapped out. A strange voice then declares that they've all been deceived. A bronze-masked man explains everything they saw was an illusion created by the eye. He introduces himself as Murong Yunhai, and A Guan recognizes the name. A Guan says Yunhai once gave him the mask and taught him a strange supreme art. Xinghe immediately blocks Yunhai, knowing he holds many secrets. But Yunhai tosses a few masks over, saying he has more important business to attend to. Before leaving, he thanks Xinghe for taking care of his sister Mulan. In the real palace ruins, the true Khan strangles Daji and mocks her tricks. Daji despairs because the city lacks forest spiritual energy, so she can't transform into her nine-tailed form. Giant sun-like eyes ignite and surround the space around them. The Khan plans to use the fox power to strengthen the clone granted by his master. He waited 300 years to gather all giant power and awaken that master. Meanwhile, Mulan leaves the wall to search for Xinghe out of worry. On the way, she sees citizens stare at the sun and suddenly suffer eye afflictions. A child clutches his face, screaming as his eyes burn in agony. The townsfolk then mutate into multi-eyed monsters with razor teeth. Mulan stands frozen as Shangjia's people transform before her eyes. The very citizens she once protected now roar as many-eyed beasts and charge at her. Mulan raises her sword, but her hand trembles. They were once her people. Murong Yunhai appears bitterly, saying the intelligent device their ancestors made is now killing humans instead. Removing his mask, he looks at Mulan in disappointment, saying his sister still doesn't grasp the truth. Mulan angrily calls him a traitor who shamed their family. Yunhai hands her a bronze mask and warns her to wear it before looking at the sky. He reveals the Khan lived 300 years by betraying humanity and merging with the parasitic eyes. Meanwhile, the many-eyed monsters charge wildly like starving beasts. On the wall, Xinghe dons the golden mask and realizes its true function. Ling Ling warns everyone never to look at the giant eye in the sky. Xinghe gives masks to Xiaoqing and Gu Yu to shield them from the creature's influence. Ling Ling explains the giant tribe blinded themselves long ago to avoid being controlled. Xiaoqing complains she can't see, but Xinghe says his spirit vision still works. Xinghe worries most citizens have mutated, making the giant strategy crucial. Ling Ling remains optimistic, saying her tribe is advancing to destroy the eye. Below, Mulan is still shaken by the townspeople turning into monsters. Fighting as he speaks, Yunhai reveals humanity's ancestors were originally giants. Legends like Kua Fu chasing the sun and Hao Yi shooting suns actually happened. The Khan was once a hero who fought the sun creatures with Kua Fu but later betrayed them. He survived 3 centuries by using parasitic eye power in exchange for sacrificing humanity. Over generations, the giant power within humans was drained, making them forget their origins. Mulan finally realizes her brother didn't betray them, he left, after discovering the truth. Yunhai warns humanity's drained power makes resisting the eye extremely difficult. He suspects the Khan wants to absorb the Kua Fu tribe's power to awaken the final sun creature. Suddenly, Mulan panics and points behind her brother. The many-eyed monsters merge into a colossal roaring abomination. Yunhai tells Mulan to leave and save survivors while he stays to hold the monster back. Realizing the fused monster is too powerful, he decides to urgently contact the giant tribe. At the eastern wall, Ling Ling battles monsters and fears humanity has fully mutated. Right then, Murong Yunhai appears, assuring her it's not hopeless yet. Remembering Yunhai's words, Xinghe turns to ask what he truly meant. In the palace ruins, the real Khan absorbs giant power to awaken his master. After draining Daji's strength, he tosses her aside like used bait. A massive arrow laced with fire poison shoots across the battlefield and pierces Ling Ling. Toxic flames instantly spread through her body, setting her ablaze. Ling Ling screams in agony as the fire devours her. Yunhai panics, saying it's undoubtable fire poison and they must stop her from jumping into the sea. Xinghe binds Ling Ling with dragon-bending chains, despite not knowing how to save her yet. He urgently asks Yunhai what must be done to cure the fire poison. Yunhai says the flames can't be extinguished, but there's another way. Calmly, he explains he foresaw the fire orb creature's poison and studied ancient texts for years. According to those texts, the poison can't be put out, only guided out through a female body using a proper conduit. Yunhai presents it like ancient medicine, but Xinghe still finds the method suspiciously awkward. The main issue, Ling Ling's gigantic body, makes finding a suitable conduit nearly impossible. Guan cheekily hunts by saying Xing He dropped something, implying he already has the right tool. Catching on, Xing He drags the chained Ling Ling and dives into the sea, thanking Guan mid-leap. Guan laughs it off while Xiao Qing rushes over shouting, but Xing He is already underwater. Beneath the sea, Xing He activates Dragon Scale transformation, forming a giant egg around them and focusing on saving her. He wraps them tightly with dragon scales to draw out the poison as Ling Ling, burning alive, begs for death. Inside the sealed egg, Xing He ventures deep into her enormous body, stunned by the vast inner space. Seeing Shiz near collapse, he speeds up despite mounting pressure. After pushing further, Xing He finally finds the key point and begins guiding the detox process. He discovers a raging inner current and realizes it can flush the fire poison out. Searching nearby, Xiao Qing spots the glowing dragon egg under the sea and recognizes Xing He's transformation. Guan activates his rank giant spirit profession, turning into a giant to intervene. He delivers a colossal kick, launching the dragon egg from the sea into the sky. Xiao Qing panics since Xing He is inside, but Guan believes the detox is complete. The dragon egg soars upward and explodes midair, drawing all eyes on the sea. Yunhai senses the disturbance and looks skyward to assess the situation. Xing He steps out of the shattered egg holding the unconscious Ling Ling as the system announces she is the SMC queen and extracts her evolution gene. Sticky rain falls from the sky and Yunhai realizes Xing He successfully expelled the fire poison. By sunset, Xing He and Ling Ling surface safely, to Xiao Qing and Guan's relief. After regrouping, Xing He decides to immediately settle accounts with the Khan. But upon arrival, they find only mutant corpses scattered everywhere. At the center stands Wang Dahai, mutated into a mad giant monster after devouring others. Seeing the chaos, Ling Ling volunteers to stay and handle it while Xing He continues chasing the Khan. In truth, she's exhausted and can't transform again, so she pretends to stay strong. Xing He understands, leaves support behind for her, and heads off with Yunhai to fight the boss. Watching him go, Ling Ling feels touched but silently warns she'll castrate him if he betrays her. In the sky, the giant Crimson Eye begins draining life force, and Yunhai realizes the giant's power is being siphoned away. Xing He finds Daji drained of energy, she trembles and apologizes for failing. He praises her effort and declares he'll handle the rest himself. Right after praising her, Xing He tells Daji to step aside or get caught in friendly fire, earning one resentful fox glare. Xing He stares at the giant Sunai and realizes that's the real boss. The Khan was just a side quest. Both men volunteer for the harder fight, each insisting on facing the more dangerous enemy. Xing He smirks while Yunhai frets like a worried brother-in-law, but both know this battle is unavoidable. Without hesitation, Xing He charges the giant eye while Yunhai goes straight for the Khan. The Khan sneers at being underestimated and dives into fierce combat. Swinging his blade, he boasts about past wars and promises to show them true power today. Xing He blocks a strike, but his arm goes numb. This foe dwarfs all previous enemies. The Khan suddenly targets Daji to kill her as a warning, making the fox yelp in panic. At the critical moment, Guan rushes in to block the attack, refusing to watch a murder. The heroic save turns awkward when Guan declares Daji is basically their dog. Daji explodes in protest. She's a fox, not a dog, but no one cares. Guan casually absorbs energy, acting as if being Xing He's dog is perfectly normal. Mid-fight, the Khan probes Guan's identity, suspecting he's the legendary Divine Hound. Realizing he's not, the Khan unleashes a blazing spear to finish him. From Guan's aura, the Khan detects the giant spirit god's breath and that he once wielded the cloud-chasing sun-shooting bow. Xing He recognizes the move that felled Ling Ling and shouts a warning, forcing Guan to retreat. Xing He spends all reward points on a Brank Gatling gun and aims at the Khan, declaring his era is over. The Khan is baffled by this modern weapon, unsure what divine artifact it is. Meanwhile, Xing He calculates carefully ordinary weapons won't kill the sun monster above. The Khan transforms into a fire giant, boasting he endured fire poison for 300 years and fears no such weapon. He crushes the Gatling bullets with raw muscle, shocking Xing He as modern tech fails spectacularly. From behind, Yunhai urges the Khan to repent, saying he could have been a hero if not misguided. The Khan scoffs at heroism. Dead heroes are worthless. As he prepares to draw his bow, he realizes the sun-shooting divine bow is gone. Xing He appears holding it. The system confirms he obtained the Cessus rank cloud-chasing sun-shooting bow. The Khan rages, accusing Xing He of shamelessly stealing his divine weapon. Without pause, Xing He fires at the Sunni, detonating the sky in blinding brilliance. Staring at the apocalyptic blast, Yunhai and Daji wonder if the war is finally over. Yunhai rushes to congratulate Xing He, admitting his hero dream was just stolen. But victory sours as Xing He collapses. The bow's fire poison ignites within him. The system warns he has 2 minutes before turning to ash unless he enhances his physique. The Khan laughs darkly, revealing the bow was corroded by fire poison after shooting suns long ago. He adds that the suns were merely vessels to awaken the true master. The crimson sky spirals in flames as giant energy is drained to revive that ruler. The Khan declares all resistance futile. The master is fully awakened. Horrified, Yunhai and Daji realize the real enemy is the sun above them. The sun descends and mutates, absorbing energy everywhere to become a monstrous being. Yunhai despairs. If the enemy is the literal sun, humanity stands no chance. In the Mu clan basement, unbearable heat seeps into the civilian shelter. Mulan panics, realizing the people lack masks and can't withstand the scorching force. In agony, the civilians blame the Mu clan for opposing the Khan and dragging them into doom. Among the giants, the dying tribesmen resent Ling Ling for leading them into a hopeless war. Hearing their final thoughts, Ling Ling is crushed, believing she doomed her own people. Yunhai collapses in despair, believing their ambition to fight something like the sun doomed everyone. Singhi stands firm, gripping his mutated dragon blood and declaring it's not over till the last second. Yunhai painfully argues their hero dream-dragged innocent lives into death. Ignoring system warnings, Xinghe activates mutated dragon blood, accepting the risk of alienation to keep fighting. He tells Yunhai the world is unfair. If no one resists, everything will be destroyed anyway. The system repeatedly warns his body is beginning to mutate under the dangerous dragon blood power. Black energy engulfs his arm, yet Xinghe calmly reminds Yunhai that the hero's path is always lonely. Mutation hits 30 as Xinghe, wreathed in dark aura, charges forward knowing surrender means certain death. Within the flames, the scarlet Abyss ghost bird awakens after 300 years, vowing revenge for its 9 slain brothers. Xinghe realizes the true enemy isn't the sun but an alien invader. The system confirms a retrieval mission and displays an golden mask capable of gazing at the sun. Xinghe sees the mask is near breaking. If the monster approaches, humanity will burn alive. He instantly casts Dragon-Bending Lock, launching divine chains to restrain the ghost bird. The creature is shocked. The chains withstand its flames without melting. The Khan recognizes it as the dragon-locking chain once used to control floods years ago. The ghost bird mocks Xinghe as a mere human, while Xinghe coolly replies he kills bosses in seconds. The ghost bird easily dodges and even phases through him, rendering attacks useless. Xinghe is stunned. He can't physically touch it, as if it's an illusion. The creature laughs, proving the truth is far more complex than he thought. It erupts with power, shattering the dragon-bending lock divine artifact and all. Xinghe's golden mask is down to its last durability under the scorching heat. Knocked back, Xinghe analyzes how the enemy can be intangible yet still attack. The Khan sneers that his master's body is illusion-like, untouchable by ordinary weapons. Before he finishes bragging, Guan and Daji rush in to shut him up the hard way. Daji scolds the Khan for yapping while her master fights for his life. Insulted, the Khan truly rages and vows to crush them both. He grabs Guan and Daji by the throat, but Yunhai charges in to counterattack. Yunhai unleashes twin blades at the Khan while his hands are occupied. Even so, the Khan's monstrous strength locks all three in a brutal stalemate. They shout for Xinghe to seize the chance to fight the boss. They'll hold the Khan back. The system warns mutation has reached 60 at 70, transformation becomes irreversible. Xinghe fears becoming a monster like Ling Shuzi, yet he must keep fighting. In the palace ruins, he spots another dragon egg he created earlier. Ling Tian bursts out crying, thinking Xinghe forgot him inside. Awkwardly, Xinghe claims Ling Tian was his secret weapon, though he actually forgot. Ling Tian offers his sword, trusting Xinghe planned everything. He explains he only became Imperial Commander because of this divine blade. Xinghe accepts it and tells Ling Tian never to underestimate himself. The system confirms it is the legendary SSS Xuanyuan sword, demonstrating divine artifact. The Xuanyuan sword ignites, purifying Xinghe's mutation and briefly stabilizing him. But the golden mass shatters, scorching heat floods in, and the purification fails. Xinghe's class forcibly evolves into SS Berserker, a mad warrior who fights friend and foe alike. The Scarlet Abyss Ghost Bird senses his aura has completely changed, now pure, endless battle intent. The Ghost Bird reassures itself it feels no fear. Humans are mere fireflies before the sun. It continues mocking that even without weak emotions, humanity remains inferior. Enraged by the insults, Xinghe roars madly, vowing to fight to the death, no stop. Guiniao is stunned that the humans dare to charge, instead of running like sensible creatures. Has even more shocked when Xinghe's attack actually lands on his body. Kehan urgently warns his master that Xinghe wields the Xuanyuan Sheiyu sword, the world's supreme divine weapon. Guiniao scoffs, thinking as long as he dodges the sword, humans are still useless. But Xinghe activates first-level evolution gene and unlocks an illusion skill to create clones. The system warns that each clone shares his power, neatly slicing his combat strength. In a blink, countless Xinghes appear, leaving Guiniao clueless about the real one. Cornered, Guiniao howls in humiliation at the thought of losing to a mere human. Under relentless pressure, Guiniao's body is defeated for the first time ever. Daiji cheers too soon while Yunhai notices Xinghe looks dangerously unstable. With bloodshot eyes, Xinghe mutters madly that he only wants to fight to the death. In berserk mode, he keeps charging the boss without the slightest pause. Yunhai realizes Xinghe has lost control and will fight until he collapses. Kahan laughs, revealing that his master isn't dead despite being beaten. The group freezes in horror upon hearing the monster is still alive. Kahan explains his master is an immortal being from beyond this world. First, its body is like a phantom, untouchable by ordinary weapons. Second, even if defeated, it can undergo nirvana and resurrect. Before their eyes, Qiuan Guiniao undergoes nirvana and reveals a far stronger true form. Meanwhile, Xinghe keeps repeating one word like a broken record fight. Guiniao declares every strike from now on will be full power to end these insolent humans. He unleashes a full-force blow, but mindless Xinghe charges in, screaming for battle. Guiniao is baffled that even his heavy strike can't kill Xinghe. Xinghe rushes again like a monster, making Guiniao question who the real immortal is. Guiniao frantically boosts his attacks, unable to grasp why this human won't die. Clutching the Xuanyuan sword, Xinghe roars nonstop, an undead fighting machine. Guiniao starts to panic as he still can't kill his opponent. He pours out all his power, roaring to crush Xinghe with a final blow. Amid the chaos, Xinghe suddenly vanishes from sight. Panting, Guiniao assumes he finally killed the lunatic. But Xinghe reappears with blazing red eyes and dives back into battle. Guiniao truly panics, unable to understand why he can't kill him. Xinghe suddenly crashes through a roof and drops into a building below. In his frenzy, he grabs Ling Tian by the throat, unable to tell friend from foe. Only then does Daji realize the real Xing He is here. The one in the sky was just a clone burning down the boss. Xing He instantly flies back up, drawing the Zhuyun Shiribo straight at Gai Niao. Gui Niao finally realizes the earlier attackers were clones and the real fight starts now. Xing He suddenly appears behind Gu Niao, leaving him utterly confused about the plan. Gai Niao mocks him, thinking he'll use the Zhuyun Shiribo, unaware it was long ago assimilated. Xing He coldly replies the fool is him, since a bow isn't only for shooting arrows. He lets the Xuanyuan sword pierce his own body, using its purifying power to destroy Gu Niao from within. Burned by the divine blade's power, Qi Yuan Niao is finally annihilated and the simulated sun fades. Daji realizes Xing He used clones to exhaust the boss before finishing it with the Xuanyuan sword. Xing He falls unconscious with the sword in his chest as the system announces the Deep Space Overlord's defeat and huge rewards. The reward is the SS Immortal Phoenix fan, able to revive life at the cost of 1 feather per use. The Xuanyuan sword begins merging with Xing He as his blood seeps into the blade. Mulan, Xiaoqing, and Ling Ling rush over as the final battle ends. Yunhai aches to see that after this catastrophe, few remain alive in Kangzhou City. Ling Ling notices Qihan has vanished from the battlefield. Yunhai says without the divine bow, Qihan is it that scary saving Xing He comes first. Fire poison from the divine bow starts corroding Xing He's body, making Daji panic for his life. Ling Ling steps up confidently, claiming she has handled this fairy toxin before. She explains the flame can't be extinguished, only drained out of the body. With grave seriousness, Ling Ling lectures that men have a special outlet for toxin removal. According to her, only that very special method can cure this deadly fire poison. 10 minutes later, Xing He is still out cold, so Xiaoqing decides to try her own approach. She's confident since she's a forensic intern in real life and knows some medicine. Yet after half an hour, Xing He remains stubbornly unconscious. Blushing hard, Mulan still joins in to save her husband. Even Mulan proves helpless as the fire poison corrodes too deeply. Daji steps forward, declaring she understands Xing He best and will save her master. The girls unite, trying every possible way to purge the fire poison. In the end, they work together all night to keep him alive. When the moon hangs high, Xing He finally wakes in a daze. He stares blankly at the exhausted girls collapsed around him. Yunhai explains they detoxed him all night and passed out from sheer fatigue. Xing He clutches his head and asks how long he was out. Wu Yu replies precisely over a day and a half. Strangely, the sky is still pitch black with only a faceless moon remaining. The moon gives no light, yet hangs clearly visible overhead. Still, they only need to survive 2 more days to clear the mission and return home. Xing He suddenly asks where Kai Guan disappeared to. He flies up to scout and immediately senses trouble. Countless eerie white bone rabbits surge toward the building like a monster tide. Yunhai instantly recognizes them as Chang'e's legendary rabbits. Xing He realizes those creatures are the moon rabbits. He starts recounting the tale of Hao Yi shooting 9 suns and Chang Yi ascending to the moon. Xing He continues with the story of Chang Yi stealing the elixir and becoming a moon spirit. Hearing this, Yunhai realizes the familiar legend is just one of many versions. He recalls the Mu family ancient text telling a completely different story. According to it, 300 years ago Chang Yi led rabbit spirits down to wreak havoc. Suppressed by 10 suns back then, she retreated, but now her chance seems to return. Xing He notes something odd. Gui Niao wasn't a real sun, yet the sun still vanished. His thoughts are cut off as the girls panic at the oncoming bone rabbit horde. Mulan stays alert, certain these rabbits are anything but normal animals. Daji senses demonic aura and a craving for fresh blood from the creatures. Xiaoqing nervously asks if Daji would eat her, making the fox spirit laugh it off. A chaotic battle erupts as Yunhai slaughters the endless bone rabbits. Suddenly, the rabbits retreat, stunning everyone. Yunhai realizes a distant explosion drew them away. Xing He immediately guesses only Kai Guan could cause such a blast. Elsewhere, Kahan runs while laughing, convinced Chang'e's rabbits will wipe them out. An explosion suddenly interrupts his smug thoughts. Kai Guan appears, munching roasted rabbit while blocking Kahan's path. Kahan turns pale seeing that troublesome guy chasing him again. Xing He raises the Zhuyun Shiribo as the system confirms full fusion with the Xuanyuan sword. He fires an arrow straight at the moon, shocking everyone. When Yunhai questions him, Xing He says he's just testing a theory. Instantly, countless red streaks rain down from the sky. Yunhai gasps, thinking it's blood rain. Xing He clarifies it's not rain, the moon is bleeding, proving it's fake too. Realizing a huge secret, Xing He proposes going to the moon to investigate. He suggests flying there by sword control, stunning Yunhai. Xing He borrows Mulan's sword, preparing for takeoff. Yunhai curiously asks if Xing He is actually an immortal who can ride a sword. Daji swiftly climbs onto his shoulder, demanding a moon trip too. Xing He hops onto the sword and rockets straight toward the moon. Yunhai squints skeptically, doubting that odd flying style counts as sword riding. Mulan, meanwhile, looks at her husband like he's already a certified immortal. Yunhai decides to carry Mulan up since the moon isn't as far as it looks. Ling Ling turns into a giant and lifts Xiaoqing and Wu Yu skyward. Xing He soon realizes the upper darkness is just camouflage. Beyond it floats a city blocking the real sky. The group is stunned to find it's the legendary Guanghan Palace. Xiaoqing freezes in horror at the sight ahead. Wu Yu coldly identifies it as impalement torture. Corpses skewered on stakes fill the square in a nightmare display. Perched on Xing He's shoulder, Daji frowns at the 2 girls pressing close to her master. Ling Ling icily threatens to cut off the problem, leaving Xing He stunned. Xing He snaps back that no one's in the mood for romance amid a horror show. Wu Yu observes the stakes and plaza ground look like living flesh with veins. At that moment, rabbit spirits surround them for trespassing Guanghan Palace. The group is escorted into the main hall where an old man plays stone-tossing games. A boy appears, scolds the rabbits for rudeness, and orders them to stand down. He introduces himself as Wu Gang's disciple and apologizes for his master's senility. Xing He coldly asks if the impaled victims outside are their idea of righteous love. The boy claims they were infected with moon poison and had to be dealt with even Chang Yi. Xing He is shocked to hear Chang Yi was killed by Wu Gang. Another childlike voice says they found a tree in the ruins that can cleanse moon poison. A massive laurel tree is being cultivated to purify the moon palace into paradise. Wu Yu still senses something deeply wrong about the laurel tree. She notices its trunk is riddled with veins like the wooden stakes. When she reaches to touch it, the boy hastily stops her, citing mortal contamination. He plays the gracious host and orders the group to dine and rest. Xing Yi suspects the title Lord actually refers to the boy, not the old man. On the way, Xiaoqing realizes they've returned to another corpse-filled plaza. Wu Yu explains it's a different square, proving many identical zones exist. She discovers the impaled victims aren't dead, they're being drained of blood through the ground. Xiaoqing is horrified to learn the Red River is entirely human blood. Xing He decides to follow the blood river to uncover the truth. Yunhai immediately jumps into the river of blood to investigate. Xing He breaks into sweat at Yunhai's painfully obvious move. Luckily, the rabbit spirits are too dim to notice anything. Elsewhere, Wu Gang learns Xing He's group has grown suspicious. A mysterious voice orders him never to harm Alan. Wu Gang replies he already has a counterplan prepared. In the dining hall, rabbit spirits serve wine and meat to Xing He's group. Deji instantly detects something off about the food's scent. A rabbit spirit pretends to serve but aims to attack Xing He. Deji clamps the blade with her chopsticks, shielding her master. She proudly boasts no one wields chopsticks better than a fox her ancestor invented them. A high-ranking rabbit spirit suddenly appears and knocks out the attacker. He drops the act and orders all humans executed. Yet the rabbit soldiers tremble, too scared to draw swords before Xing He. Xing He coolly offers to help them unsheathe their weapons. Instantly, every sword flies from its scabbard, sending rabbits into panic. Floating amid a storm of blades, Xing He mocks the half-beast rabbits. Wu Gang agrees to hand someone to Yunhai, thinking all remains in his control. But upon entering the hall, he pales Xing He's group as casually feasting, untouched by poison. Wu Gang realizes the poisoning failed, meaning the tide has turned without his preparation. Xing He smirks coldly, deliberately forcing Wu Gang to reveal himself and shatter his disguise. Exposed, Wu Gang openly admits it, convinced these mortals pose zero threat. Xing He points out the flaw from the start: their words and aura were logically swapped. Even the fake name was lazy, flipping Gang Wu into Wu Gang like a confession. Despite exposure, Wu Gang sneers, calling the mortals flailing before death. Still uneasy, he asks about his rabbit troops, his real backbone. Xing He simply waves a roasted rabbit leg, hinting the army is now dinner. Realizing his troops were eaten, Wu Gang goes berserk, summoning a golden axe to kill personally. He brags about 300 years of tree-chopping arm training, claiming one throw can crush anyone. Xing He casually catches the axe, shattering 3 centuries of pride. He coldly notes that strength belonged to Wu Gang's old body, this one can't handle it. Struck at his weak spot, Wu Gang steadies himself and unveils a final trump card. He summons countless axes, believing sheer numbers will instantly overwhelm them. Xing He snaps open teleportation gates, swords pouring out like rain to block every axe. Seeing his move fully countered, Wu Gang panics. His opponent knows him too well. Before he reacts, a giant foot stomps down from behind, freezing him stiff. Giant Ling Ling leans in to threaten him, shocking Wu Gang, who thought giants extinct. Xiaoqing steps up with a scalpel, disturbingly eager to dissect him. Wu Yu, Mulan, and Daji add their threats, flipping the predator into prey. Surrounded, Wu Gang finally suspects he's the weakest one in the room. Terrified yet stubborn, he warns he'll use a secret move if pushed. Xing He mocks him, clearly doubting he has any comeback left. As expected, Wu Gang's ultimate move is instantly kneeling to beg for mercy. He sobs that he's just a woodcutter who bullied others using rabbit spirits. According to him, survival is king, real men bend and stretch, so kneeling is fine. Before anyone decides, Murong Yunhai suddenly drives a sword through Wu Gang's chest. Under Xing He's stunned gaze, Yunhai coldly says battles like this have no rewind button. Diang, Wu Gang can't grasp why kneeling didn't save him. Yunhai strikes again, declaring once the bow is drawn, you fight to the death. He reassures Xing He that he uncovered the whole truth: Wu Gang had to die. Earlier, he traced the blood river to the roots of the laurel tree. Beneath it, Chang Yi was imprisoned, while human blood fed the tree. The laurel constantly emitted moon poison to keep her asleep, and her blood nourished the rabbit army. After 300 years of torment and blood drain, Chang Yi is barely a flicker. Yunhai warns that rushing in now would trap them in a moon illusion from centuries of poison. Still, he insists there's always a counterbalance in nature. The only clue is Chang'e's blood pool, which can resist the laurel tree's moon poison. Murong explains soaking in Chang'e's blood pool grants resistance, that's how the rabbits enter the chamber. After laying out every clue, Murong asks Xing He what to do next. Xing He decides the girls should soak in the blood pool, first to withstand the moon poison. Hearing about bathing together, Mulan blushes, clinging to Xing He and hinting at past shared baths. Embarrassed, she admits she once thought she knew more about bathing until her husband argued her into silence. Under Xing He's relentless logic, Mulan concedes defeat and realizes her knowledge was shallow. After a night of debate, she fully admires Xing He, seeing him as a soulmate who broadened her peculiar horizons. Xiaoqing listens cluelessly yet insists on joining, trapping Xing He between two walking headaches. Ling Ling storms in and drags them away, refusing a repeat of the last fire detox teamwork. She snaps at Murong to stop spacing out and lead them to the blood pool. Once alone, Deji turns into a fox on Xing He's shoulder and bluntly asks if he suspects Murong. Xing He admits has doubted him for a while. Recent signs just scream untrustworthy. It makes no sense Murong wants to oppose Kahan yet knows nothing of the giant clan or Ling Ling's identity, and killing Wu Gang instantly, clearly to silence him before more leaks. Daji suspects the whole Chang'e tale is fake, but Xing He says most of it is true. Wu Yu clarifies Murong told the truth, just conveniently incomplete truth. Meanwhile, Daji explains she's staying in fox form to conserve spiritual power. Her plan to stick close to Xing He fails as Ling Ling grabs her by the scruff. Before leaving, Ling Ling warns Xing He to behave or suffer tragic consequences. Once quiet returns, Xing He senses a strange spiritual aura behind him. Turning around, he finds Kai Guan on the Moon Palace, unexpected but welcome. Without wasting words, Xing He assigns him a secret task. He whispers an ambush plan, ordering Kai Guan to follow it precisely. Kai Guan nods rapidly and dashes off to execute. Soon after, a rabbit spirit reports the girls finished bathing and Murong has taken them to see Chang'e. Xing He instantly draws a dagger, recognizing this rabbit as the one once spared. The jade rabbit trembles, claiming she was Chang'e's maid forced by Wu Gang. A hovering sword points at her face lie and she dies. After weighing it, Xing He lets her guide them, eager to see Murong's real play. They arrive at a chamber with a dark red blood pool, thick with killing intent. The jade rabbits offer to assist with bathing, reminds Xing He of Ling Ling's threat. He declines fast. Avoiding disaster, he sends her away before discussing further. He asks Wu Yu to analyze Murong's true goal, sensing they're being led. Wu Yu suspects Murong wants the immortality elixir Chang'e once consumed. She immediately warns the blood pool reeks suspiciously and must not be used. Examining petals in the water, she confirms they're ancient anesthetic flowers. Xing He realizes it's Murong's second trap to knock them all out. Luckily, he anticipated this and set Kai Guan in ambush, ready to counterplot. Meanwhile, beneath the laurel tree, Chang'e sits outside, shocking Mulan. As they approach, Deji suddenly loses control and is forced into fox form. Standing near Chang'e, Mulan smells a strangely sweet fragrance from the fairy. Xiaoqing instantly identifies it as beeswax, resin, and cypress oil. Mulan grows dizzy and sleepy. The scent directly affects the mind. Xiaoqing explains those substances preserve corpses, sending chills down everyone's spine. Daji panics, realizing the Chang'e before them may just be a treated corpse. Moments later, Mulan and Xiaoqing collapse from the drug trap sprung. Even Ling Ling weakens, proving the drug terrifyingly potent. Murong Yunhai steps out laughing, admitting the blood pool he prepared poisoned them. He restrains Daji, planning to use her great demon golden core to extract Chang'e's remaining immortal essence. Murong raves that hell surpass Qihan and the sun itself to become the sole immortal existence. Just as Murong gloats, Kaieguan suddenly appears behind him and issues a challenge, stunning him. Without waiting, Kaieguan lands a vicious kick that makes Murong howl. Outside, Xing He and Wu Yu advance, ready to enter the battlefield. On the way, the Jade Rabbit shows up, dropping hints to stall for Murong. Xing He instantly sees through the delay tactic and snaps at her, making her panic. He wastes no time, firing a dragon scale through her body to clear the obstacle. Stepping over her corpse, Xing He coldly warns that anyone touching his people dies. Killing intent blazing, he charges inside to save them. Inside, the girls are restrained, and weak Ling Ling lights up at Xing He's arrival. She explains Kai Guan tried a sneak attack but was quickly subdued. Murong sneers blade at Kai Guan's throat, mocking the childish ambush. Xing He finds it suspicious Kai Guan shouldn't fall that easily. Murong jeers that Xing He should have obediently fallen into the trap. He orders all rabbit soldiers to seize Xing He at once. The rabbits laugh as Xing He shuts the door, thinking he trapped himself. Xing He replies coolly, not a trap, just closing the door to beat the dogs. Confident, Murong has his troops draw swords early to avoid being controlled. He even orders Deji dissected for her golden core right before Xing He's eyes. Suddenly, Kai Guan grabs Murong's hand, saying real hunters play prey. Then he plants a shocking kiss on Murong's face, stunning him senseless. In the chaos, Kai Guan snatches Murong's sword. He hurls it to Xing He, completing the ambush plan. Xing He catches it and swings, shaking the ground violently. A massive fissure splits the entire rabbit army apart, but the sword shatters after the strike, unable to bear his power. Xing He remarks it's not him who's weak, the sword simply couldn't handle him. He stomps down, unleashing pressure that crushes the rabbit's morale. Meanwhile, Kai Guan carries Daji back to Xing He. Floating midair, Xing He summons myriad swords return to Sect to end it. Countless sword energies converge, all killing intent aimed at Murong Yunhai. As the blades descend, Murong vanishes, only an A-substitute doll remains. Xing He realizes he escaped using the doll at the last second. Kai Guan grins, saying he prepared a marble and a friend waiting for him. The system confirms it's an A-substitute doll that blocks fatal damage but has nasty side effects. Setting that aside, Xing He steps before the colossal laurel tree to inspect the disaster's source. He notes the prettier the tree, the deadlier it thrived on human blood for years. A breeze scatters laurel blossoms, releasing a bewitching scent. Daji senses the fragrance intensifying, deliberately luring minds into madness. Suddenly, she sees strange foxes appear before her. They claim to be her ancestors, accusing her of becoming a human's pet. The leader reminds her that Deji is the title of the Fox Queen. They condemn her for betraying her lineage by siding with humans. Elsewhere, Ling Ling falls into an illusion amid a sea of giant bones. The chieftain's figure appears, accusing her of leading the clan to extinction. Giant spirits demand she die to atone. At the same time, spirits of those Xing he killed materialize before him. Xing he quickly recognizes it as an illusion from the laurel tree. He sneers, scorning the fake cries of injustice. He lists their crimes in life and rejects every excuse. Then he shatters the illusion outright and returns to reality. Back outside, he sees Ling Ling and Deji tightly bound by the laurel tree's vines. Xing he instantly slices the vines, breaking the tree's hypnotic grip. He helps the two girls up, soothing them while eyeing the creepy tree warily. Yet Kaieguan is still snoozing peacefully, totally unaffected. Xing he concludes the blood-fed laurel tree gains sentience and can cast illusions. He summons the dragon scale sword, ready to chop it down for good. Just as the blade falls, a hand suddenly blocks it. Chang's corpse opens pitch-black eyes and asks what he thinks is doing. Xing he jerks back in shock but is grabbed tight by her body. Deji instantly senses it's not fairy energy, it's the laurel tree's aura. Black smoke erupts from the tree, engulfing Xing He. Bound in dark qi, he realizes the tree is puppeteering Chang's corpse. Daji quickly tells him to absorb all the corrupted power from the body. She explains the Xuanyuan sword within him can purify that darkness. Understanding, Xing He kisses Chang Yi to directly siphon out the black qi. The laurel tree freaks out, pumping even more darkness into the corpse. Misunderstood by the girls, Xing He hastily pulls away, insisting his purifying, not flirting. At that moment, Chang's body begins dissolving into the laurel tree. Wu Yu rushes in, warning the rabbit spirits are returning after sensing their sabotage. He carries Mulan and Xiaoqing, saying the rabbits are too many to kill. Seeing Kaieguan drooling at the rabbits like snacks, Wu Yu is utterly speechless. Xing He summons myriad swords, return to sect, and asks if Ling Ling and Deji can still fight. Both are drained, no transformations, no real power left. Xing He sighs, realizing he's the last combat unit standing. Ling Ling warns the rabbit swarm is endless, even he can't wipe them all. Xing He steps forward to shield everyone, saying they only need to stall, not slaughter. He looks up at the sky, waiting for night to end. Raising a barrier at the entrance, he prepares to hold out till the final second. Amid defense, he orders Kaieguan to uproot the laurel tree. Kaieguan transforms into a giant spirit and yanks the tree out by its roots. Wu Yu is stunned, the tree's gone, yet the rabbits keep attacking. Xing He calmly says it no longer matters, the sun is rising. The system announces the 7-day survival mission complete and teleports them out. Meanwhile, Qihan is trapped in an absolutely smooth pocket space created by Kaieguan. He screams, unable to grip anything inside the invisible cage. Suddenly, Mu Rongyunhai appears there too after using the substitute doll. He assumes Qihan escaped and dreams of ruling Kangzhou City himself. Even without immortality, he fantasizes about becoming mortal overlord. Then he notices Qihan standing right in front of him. Furious, Qihan brands him a traitor and prepares to vent all his wrath. Mu Rong tries to stay calm and uses a grappling device to escape, but it can't latch onto the perfectly smooth space. Only then does he panic, realizing he's trapped as well. In the end, traitor and tyrant share the same doomed prison. Elsewhere, Xing He and the team return safely and receive mission completion notice. Helping Xiaoqing up, Xing He secretly notes 2 more beauties added to his collection. High above, an angel observer notices this team's survival rate far surpasses all others. Suspicious of their hidden edge, he grows increasingly curious. Below, Wu Yu begins the profession selection ritual. The system grades his performance rank and assigns a matching gene. His awakened class is Mysterious Gene Craftsman, able to forge special weapons and items. The system announces a new mission in 3 days and allows a short rest. Xiaoqing teases that she's rank and Xing He rank, leaving Wu Yu at D. But Xing He insists a forging class could decide the team's survival rate. Gu Yu reluctantly takes the blame and promises to try her absolute best. Xing He reminds everyone that upon awakening, a spirit avatar phantom appeared behind each of them. Gu Yu starts pondering the big questions: who summoned them, and what's the real agenda? He analyzes that as science advanced, humanity slowly forgot the gods ever existed. He speculates the job change gene might actually be preserved DNA of ancient deities. Up above, the angel smiles, these mortals guessed more secrets than expected. Back in the real world, Xing He hears the system's voice in the villa announcing his return. After escaping the dangerous plane, Xing He is teleported straight back to his familiar villa. He recalls leaving Gu Yu behind in the plane for research while he returned first. But upon arrival, Su Qingyi appears in seductive attire, ready to help him relax. Xing He turns pale and refuses instantly, terrified of getting his spiritual energy drained again. Meanwhile, in West City's slums, a drunk staggers past a strange tree. He cluelessly lingers as the tree roots quietly slither toward him. The roots suddenly pierce his body, and a scream shatters the night. At the villa, Xing He sighs in relief after escaping Su Qingyu, leaving Daji confused. Daji teases that last time Xing He was exhausted because both of them drained his spiritual energy. Xing He shoves the fox spirit away, scolding her for being way too greedy for his power. Just then, Xiaoqing storms in wearing a wedding dress, begging for help. Xing He is stunned, asking why she's here instead of assisting Gu Yu. Xiaoqing hides behind him, saying she was forced into marriage the moment she got home. A group of bodyguards chase her down, demanding she return for her engagement with Li Shao. Xiaoqing immediately drags Xing He in as a shield and declares He's the one she likes. A bodyguard sneers at Xing He's poverty and warns him about the terrifying power of the Li family. He boasts that the Li family of Qingshan residents can practically cover the sky with one hand. Despite her fear, Xiaoqing stubbornly refuses the arranged marriage. Xing He asks why she doesn't use her job change ability to fight back. The bodyguard loses patience watching them whisper strategy. He lunges forward to seize Xiaoqing and drag her back to Li Xiao. But before he can touch her, Xing He blocks him effortlessly. Xing He casually remarks that if it's such a blessing, the guard should marry Li Xiao himself. The guard panics when he realizes he can't break free from Xing He's grip. He guesses Xing He is a martial artist but scoffs that this is the age of guns. He immediately pulls out a gun and fires to end the fight. Xing He calmly catches the bullet midair like it's a party trick. The absurd sight leaves the bodyguard utterly terrified. Xing He summons the evil dragon Phantom, declaring the era has shifted to the job change age. With one move dragon roar shaking the 9 heavens, he blasts all the guards away. Even then, the guard screams that the Li family will never forgive him. Xing He coldly states he only speaks once. He releases a crushing pressure with a single shout, sending them fleeing in panic. The guards finally realize their opponent is anything but ordinary. They scramble away, still tossing threats of revenge over their shoulders. Xiaoqing worries knowing Xing He just provoked the massive power of the Li family. She suggests Xing He pretend to be from the Su family to intimidate the Li family. She even offers a 1 million card to hire him as her fake fiancé. The next day, news reports warn of a mad drunk attacking people in West City. Su Qingyu summons the butler to ask why Yun Xing He suddenly ran off last night. After hearing everything, the butler says she unintentionally offended Mr. Yun. He reminds her that even the Su family's old ancestor calls Yun Xing He host. Su Qingyu begins to realize just how serious her mistake was. She understands that calling him Mr. actually lowered the status of someone even the old ancestor respects. Fearing the old ancestor's wrath, she orders precious gifts prepared immediately to apologize. Meanwhile, at the I family, Li Tianxia fumes after being stood up at the engagement party. He grabs the A family head by the collar, demanding A Xiaoqing's whereabouts. He threatens that if she isn't handed over, the entire I family should start preparing coffins. A Xiaofan steps up with a toast, trying to smooth things over with Li Tianxia. A Li family lackey immediately slaps him in front of everyone. The thug mocks the A family as small fry unworthy of Li Xiao. The A family panics and explains, yet they're still forced to hand over Xiaoqing. Li Tianxia loses patience and orders all A family members seized. Right then, a voice rings out, A Xiaoqing has returned. Xiaoqing strides in with Xing He, boldly declaring him her fiancé. Her parents panic, fearing the stunt will doom the I family. Xiaoqing stubbornly insists she has powerful backing. She proclaims Yun Xing He is the master of the Su family. The A family head objects instantly, unwilling to offend both giants. He suspects his daughter is bluffing to save herself. Xing He mutters that the original script was just honored guest, not big boss. A Li lackey rages, accusing Xiaoqing of cheating on Li Xiao. He even demands the A family kneel and offer Xiaoqing as Li Tianxia's slave. Suddenly, A Xiaofan steps forward to confront him. He slaps the thug back without hesitation. Chiyu fumes, shocked a minor clan dares strike him. A Xiaofan keeps slapping and demands to be addressed as young master. Another Li subordinate threatens the I family with extermination. The A family head surprisingly flips sides to protect his son. He slaps the man too and demands to be called family head. Seeing chaos erupt, Li Tianxia orders his guards to arrest everyone. Xing He realizes the I family's overacting is making things worse. Li Tianxia suspects the I family dares resist because of hidden backing. I Xiaofan immediately points at Xing He, declaring him their real support. He announces Yun Xing He is the Su family's master and his brother-in-law. Li Tianxia steps forward to question Xing He's identity directly. A guard recalls seeing Xing He at the Su estate last night. Xing He calmly states his name, thickening the tension in the air. But Li Tianxia suddenly goes mad and stabs the guard to death on the spot. Xing He exposes the truth: the man's surname is Yun, not Su, so he can't be Sus master. Exposed publicly, the family panics and blames Xiaoqing to avoid fallout. Amid the chaos, Su Jingyu arrives personally with 9 grand gifts, freezing the hall in silence. Li Tianxia assumes she's here to congratulate him and smugly welcomes her. Instead, Su Jingyu slaps him hard and coldly tells him to get lost, stunning everyone. Chiyu thinks she's angry about impersonation and hurriedly tattles on Xing He. Before he finishes, Su Jingyu and the Su clan kneel before Xing He, respectfully apologizing to their master. The crowd is dumbfounded. If the Su family kneels to a youth, his status must be terrifying. Clutching his face, Li Tianxia still thinks Su Jingyu knelt to the wrong person. His foolish question earns another slap, and Su Jingyu states he's unworthy of her gifts. She even reveals the Li family is merely a dog raised by the Su family, leaving Li Tianxia humiliated yet silent. After repeated slaps, Li Tianxia cries for his father, all arrogance gone. Right then, his father Li Ergu storms in with underworld boss Wen Tianqiang in a crowd. Seeing this, Su Jingyu shouts at Li Ergu, asking if he dares betray the Su family. Li Ergu coldly admits it pushed too far, his turning on them today. He joins hands with Wen Tianqiang, promising to rule Shanju City together after wiping out the Su family. As Wen Tianqiang prepares to attack, Xing He suddenly speaks up, clearly not staying neutral. Xing He calmly declares his backing Su Jingyu, moving her to call him master. The gangsters scoff and charge forward, eager to hack down the brat blocking their path. Before the thugs can strike, the army storms in, and General Guyu coldly warns anyone daring to touch Xing He. On Guyu's command, soldiers subdue the gangsters in seconds, flipping the situation instantly. Guyu laughs in greeting, and Xing He finally realizes his old acquaintance is actually a general. With a gun to his head, Li Tianxia finally grasps just how terrifying a figure he provoked. Wen Tianqiang and Li Ergu are tied up and dragged away, cursing each other for the mess. Xinghe asks why the army arrives so perfectly timed, and Guyu counters, haven't you seen the news? Guyu explains riots broke out in the city, and he just happened to pass by and casually save Xinghe. After the army leaves, Su Jingyu asks if her master truly doesn't know what's happening in the city. She reveals brutal attacks erupted overnight, with perpetrators biting and eating victims. Worse, they feel no pain, lose all reason, and seem to carry a virus that turns the bitten insane. Hearing that, Xinghe immediately thinks of one classic horror icon, zombies. Amid the tension, Su Jingyu shifts topics, announcing they found a cure for Xinghe's sister. Xinghe grabs her hand excitedly, learning his sister must go abroad for a chance to recover. She explains a foreign research team includes a self-proclaimed level 3 gene evolution apostle who cured a similar case. Xinghe suspects his sister is linked to job changers but shelves the thought due to urgency. With only 3 days each time he returns to reality, he decides to act immediately. Watching her master leave, Su Jingyu promptly takes orders and arranges everything swiftly. The next day at Beijing Airport in Shanzhou City, preparations are complete to send Xinghe's sister abroad. Su Jingyu confirms tickets and full medical support are secured for a safe journey. But when an extra hospital bed appears, even she looks confused, assuming Xinghe arranged it. Suddenly, the coffin on the bed pops open with celebratory confetti, scaring everyone senseless. Guanshu leaps up laughing, ignoring the chaos and greeting Xinghe like an old war buddy. Screams erupt behind them. Mutants have appeared in the airport. A mutated man pushes a hospital bed forward, cackling about tearing human flesh. Behind him, many have been assimilated into monsters, attacking wildly as cries fill the airport. The monsters quickly target Xinghe and the survivors, laughing madly as they charge. Xinghe moves to transform, but Guanshu stops him, rips open his shirt to reveal scarred flesh, and asks to fight alone. He strides toward the horde, roaring like a madman ready to solo the apocalypse. Watching him, Xinghe recalls this same man silently guarding his sister's hospital bed. He deduces Guanshu was once her comrade in the Destiny Squad, protecting her by instinct. Xiaoqing stops Xinghe, reminding him he only has 3 days and must leave now with his sister. Su Jingyu volunteers to stay and fight to hold back the mutants. But a bodyguard stops her, insisting she must accompany her master to coordinate the foreign medical team. The others charge in to cover the rear, vowing the eldest miss won't be dragged down. With no choice, Su Jingyu urges Xinghe to leave before everything collapses. Soon the plane takes off early, announcing for passengers to fasten seatbelts. In first class, Su Jingyu anxiously asks if Xiaoqing will survive, but Xinghe stays silent. The plane lifts off as the city below is overrun by spreading monstrosities. Gazing at the chaos beneath, Xinghe can't fathom why the real world fell into disaster so suddenly. Then in the distance, he spots the laurel tree of Guang, an immortal palace appearing in the real world. Recalling the post-dungeon warning, Xinghe realizes the other world has invaded and the laurel tree is ground zero. Suddenly, screams erupt in economy class as passengers mutate and start attacking each other. Xinghe instantly understands the nightmare scenario. Mutants are now on the plane. At that moment, the system pops up a brand new survival quest right in the real world. Before anyone can react, the plane shakes violently, an engine bursts into flames, and it plunges downward with a terrifying roar.